day, chat. Fuck. Sorry, I'm slightly late. I literally have had to stop every 2 minutes and blow my fucking nose because my allergies are that bad today. And it's going great. Yeah, it's fantastic. So yeah. Woo! That's what my day is going like. Also, Munchie is sick and at the vet right now. Again. Because he's been throwing up. So, hoping it's a hairball. Yeah. So yeah, he's at least gonna go get some fluids, if nothing else, because he's been throwing up a lot, and that's not good. That is not good. So, I got a lot done this week, but not as much as I wanted to get done this week. So, my Teddy work day was not as productive as I wanted it to be because drawing just took me longer than I wanted it to. Always does, and so that ended up taking me longer. I didn't get as much done as I wanted to that day. My filming day went great. I got everything filmed. I did still take too many photos. I need to get better at not taking as many photos. But it's like hard. But I checked off everything on my filming day list. I got like half of what I wanted to do on Teddy's day done. And then my editing day got sucked up by editing the fucking photo set, and I only got through the fucking safe for work pictures because I decided to take all of them with the back camera in portrait mode. So they're gonna be good quality, but also I have to edit them a lot more. So, yeah. Just a lot of editing to do, and right, I just like keep taking too many pictures. Anyway, it'll get better with practice, I think. With more practice of this schedule, I think I will get better. I just need to trust the process. And that's also why I'm giving myself the few weeks in between to I have 2 extra weeks in the month to have wiggle room. So next week, I'm gonna take my filming day, use that as an editing day, because I have a lot of stuff to edit now. But I did get 4 videos filmed. I got the photo set done. Well, not done, but I got it filmed. Got a lot of B-roll shots. I edited a vlog. I need to edit another vlog. I need to edit the 4 videos I have filmed. I need to finish editing the photo set. I need to queue up all of the posts, and I need to do all of that stuff still, but yeah. So yeah, I mean, progress. I definitely now have a lot of content to work with here. So, yeah. My nose is starting to get chapped from how much I've had to blow it today. I'm trying to resist doing it more because I know that it's just gonna cause eczema. I don't want that. So I just have to keep pushing it so it stops hurting. Anyway. Fuck. So stream plan. We are making a cookie book. So I need to catch up on my Christmas gifts for people. So we are, yeah, we're gonna do that. Let me get it pulled up. I have one loaded in as a template, though I'm not sure. Whatever, I'll figure out. I had it, I like mapped out how I wanted it written out with one of my recipes, and I was gonna have it be in like 4 quadrants. That's probably how I'll print it, but I think I'll make it differently. Like this will be the printing page, and then the rest I'll just have separately. That way I can post it on my website or something, and you guys can have some cookies. Some holiday cookies. Yes. What? No. We're making a cookbook. We're making a little cookbook I can print out and dude. I had to cave. God damn it. Please, just let me live. Why am I fucking sick? I'm so mad right now. Okay. So we're gonna make a little cookbook that I can print out and give as a gift to my family and to you guys as a little tiny thingy to go along, because I'm making my family cookies. I'm gonna make a little cookie box. Speaking of which, I need to get tins for that. Whatever. Doing all of my cookie shopping tomorrow. Doing literally all of my Christmas everything this weekend, so oh god, I'm not stressed at all. I'm not stressed at all. Oh fuck. I've taken so many drugs, I can't take any more. Or I'd fall asleep, probably. I'm literally gonna have like a Santa nose by the end of this day. Like, bitch, what the fuck? My eyes are watering so bad too, like. I'm falling apart over here, chat. Fuck. What the fuck? Ugh. Let's go! Nice. Ugh, yeah. It's okay, I just woke up. Actually, no, I didn't just wake up like this. I, like, did not... God, I need to be less animated when I talk, because it's making me have to sneeze. Son of a bitch. Oh, so let me get the video pulled up that I have planned for us to watch. Breathing sucks right now. I have to fucking be a mouth breather. Like, I'm struggling. Oh no, my eye's watering again. Fuck. What was I gonna fucking say? I totally forgot. I don't know. Fuck it. Anyway, we're gonna watch this while I work on the cookie book. I have my recipes pulled up in my notes app on my iPad. This is where I keep them. So we're gonna do that. It's always flowers. It's always flowers. Oh yeah, by the way, I went and saw the Nutcracker last weekend. I forgot to tell you guys. It was... So... The sets were really pretty. And Clara did really, she was great. Clara did great. She wasn't on point, which was new for me. Never seen Clara not on point, but yeah, that's okay. It's fine. It's fine. The Nutcracker was a child. They did great. They were also great. But also not on point. It was a girl. It was a girl playing the Nutcracker, I'm pretty sure. It wasn't. It wasn't. It was the Northwest Ballet. It was the official Northwest Ballet. Like Seattle. They had prima ballerinas. The party scene? Literally only like... There was like 2 kids dressed as like Harlequin dolls. And that was the only toys during that whole scene. That was new for me. There was a lot of people out of sync. And I saw a lot of people not getting over the box. And I was stressed. Like, they were not... There was this one girl, though. And, like, it was... I don't know what the fuck... They, like, did a different version of the Nutcracker. I literally... It was, like, an easier version. I'm genuinely confused. I'm like, so... Interesting. Yeah. There was a girl who, I don't even know what the fuck she was supposed to be. It was one of the fucking, like, gumdrop. She was dancing with the gumdrops. But she was dressed differently. I don't fucking know. Anyway, she was the only one there that I was like, oh, okay, she's good. She's good. Like, her arch was beautiful. Like, her extension, the lines were beautiful. Very beautiful. She was not struggling to dance. And yeah. And then when they went for the, like, during the Sugar Plum Fairy dance, like, when they went for, like, the hold, you know, the dip hold, or, like, the uphold, I just kept waiting for it, and it just kept not coming. And then when they did do it, it was so fucking underwhelming. Also, the Arabian Dancer was good. But, like... Bro. And the girl who was the Sugar Plum Fairy was, like, the lead principal dancer. Like... What happened? What happened? She was the one who couldn't she kept not going over her box, and she was stressing me the fuck out. Sorry, no. The Arabian Dancer is like it's a character. It's the fucking Nutcracker. There's the Chinese dancers, the Arabian, it's a character name. It's just what they call that ensemble. It's not actually someone who's Arabian and or Chinese. That's not... It's old and racist. That's just what it's fucking called. I don't know. But, she was good. But, like, I'm just still, like, I can't get over the fact Clara wasn't on point. What? Like... And the crazy part was there wasn't even that many, like, little kids in it. Like, there was a probably 11 to 13-year-old doing Clara and the Nutcracker. And then there was the party kids. But other than that, there wasn't any kids in, like, the rest of it. That was all, like, actual professional ballerinas. And I was like, oh, okay, so have the standards dropped? No, it was more like 20 kids, but still, because the party scene's big, but... I was like, oh, okay. Like, a lot of the ensemble was actually pretty good. The guys did way better. Like, the guys were killing it. Oh, yeah, okay, Mother Ginger was the only other time that there was kids. That's fair. That's fair. But also, I was like, they weren't even little. They weren't little kids. I'm pretty sure it was the same kids from the party scene. And all of them were, like, at least 8. So, like, between 8 and 10. Oh no, Munchie's food's gonna go off and Soul's gonna fucking eat it. Whatever, fuck it. Munchie's not gonna eat that anyway. Yeah, so, like, and for the mice, usually it's like little tiny itty bitty mice, right? There will be, like, that's where you have the, like, little babies. The, like, little tiny babies will be the mice or something. All of the mice were fully costumed and adults. So, you can have it, Soul. You can have it. You can have it, Bobois. You can have it. Yeah, Soul, you can eat that. You can have it, Bobois. And, like, they weren't even that great. Like, I was so underwhelmed. I was, like, very happy to be seeing the Nutcracker. And honestly, the sets were so amazing that I was, like, still enjoying myself. And, like, they weren't, like, that bad. I'd give it, like, a 7 out of 10. I'd give it, like, a 7. I think it was like 120, but we had pretty good seats. So, like, the experience was still great. I would just say the dancing, I was like, oh, okay, interesting. Because I keep seeing all of the dancers for the, like, New York Nutcracker practicing on my TikTok and stuff. And, like, they're killing it. It looks so good. And I'm just like, girl, what are we doing? Yeah, there was a live orchestra, like, all of it, beautiful theater, Like, the sets were truly amazing. They were so fucking pretty. I don't know. Like, they even flew away in a thing at the end. Clara and the Nutcracker, like, flew away in a boat at the end. Like, they literally, like, went up over everyone in a flying boat. That was really fucking cool. But also, why isn't Clara in point? Like, and it seemed like the girl probably could do it in point. She seemed like she was really good. Like, she was hitting her marks way better. Like, even when she wasn't, like, doing a solo, or she wasn't, like, the center of the thing, she was just part of the party scene, like, she was still standing out just because of, like, her mannerisms and how, like, her stage presence was really good. So I'm like, why can't we put her in point? No, she was like 11, 13. Like, she wasn't that young. She was definitely point age. Like, she should definitely know how to do point by that age. Like, huh? Like, there's no way you haven't done point by that point. You know? Because I think I started doing point around, like, 10, 11? Yeah. Right? Like, that's, like, right when you're getting into the groove of doing point, and you're getting good at it, and it's exciting. I would be so fucking pissed if I got the part of Clara, I didn't get a B on point, and then I just have to sit on the stage for half the fucking play smiling. Oh, I would lose it. You don't even get to be on point. Ah! Like, at least the mice get to paint their their point shoes black. That's fun. I'm gonna be fucking Clara. No point shoes. Sitting on the stage. Ah, so boring. At least be on the spinning bed. The spinning bed is fun, but, like, I would have been pissed. Like, you work that hard to get fucking Clara, and then no point shoes. Oh! I was so mad on her behalf, and she was so good, too. Oh. They had my girl up there with no... barefoot at one point. Because, like, the part where she throws her shoe, which, like, that hits a lot harder when it's a point shoe. If it's a slipper, what the fuck is the slipper do? Bye. Anyway. Like, she throws the shoe, and then she literally doesn't get her shoe back. Cause she throws the shoe, then she goes over onto the bed and passes out, right? And then she's literally up there on the bed, no shoe. Shoe does not get returned to her. Shoe gets taken off stage. And she's just up there barefoot through the whole fucking snow scene. And then the fucking Nutcracker. And then, like, she, like, has to get off the bed, still barefoot, snow scene. Bubbles on barefoot. Oh my god, poor Clara. Poor fucking Clara, dude. I was like sitting next to my fiance the whole time. I was like, god damn, I feel so bad for Clara. It was so funny. Like even my fiance, who doesn't dance and doesn't know ballet, was like, are they off? Are they, like, offbeat? I was like, yeah, they're not in sync right now. It was very funny, though. It was good. It was really cute. And it was very good. And the stage presence was good, but I just expected more from, like, the adult performers. Like, all of the guys who were doing it were killing it. They were getting their jumps. their little Russian squat dance. That was great. Then the one girl who was like really good that I was saying, she did like, I think like, I don't know. She was doing a bunch of shit. She did a solo for like, it had to be like 5 minutes. It was a long solo. She'd like come in and then leave again. And by that point, I had like completely lost track of what the fuck was happening, because this was like such a new version of the Nutcracker that I'd never seen before. I was like, who are you? I was like, I guess I've never seen the Nutcracker before, because I don't know what's happening. No, you had no boys. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, it was like weird. It was like a different version of the Nutcracker. I was like, I didn't know that was an option. They literally say it like on the pamphlet and stuff too, and like it's like slightly shorter. There's like way less characters, and it just seems easier in general. I don't know. It was a choice. It was definitely a choice. Yeah. Oh yeah, how are you guys liking the cookies? Hee. Right? Well, no, it was, I mean, to be fair, it was the matinee, but it wasn't like not the main dancers. It was still the main dancers, so I don't fucking know. God damn it. Matinee isn't always bench warmers. Sometimes, but not usually on the weekend. Ugh. Fuck. But, because also it was all of the dancers that were in all of the advertisements for it, so I know it's the main dancers. It was just... But yeah. But, like, I know that they have plenty of dancers. Like, they have enough. It's not like they're lacking for dancers. There's, like, a fucking wait list to get into their school. I think you have to be under the age of 6 to get in without an audition. I forget how old it is. I think it's 6. 6 or 7. Okay. But it's something like that. Anyway, let us watch. Yes, there was a live orchestra. The orchestra was killing it, by the way. Orchestra didn't make a single mistake. Like, they did great. They did great. I don't really have any other gossip. I've just been working. Yeah, no. I don't think I've ever been to a ballet that doesn't have a live orchestra. Yeah, I don't think I've ever been to a ballet that doesn't have a live orchestra. Oh, you didn't? Ugh, that sucks. I guess for ours, we were always, like, in a big enough city, and there was, like, enough people, and we had the pit. The orchestra pit. Okay, yeah, school recital makes sense. But for ours, we would do it in the, like, actual theater. Yeah. I was just, like, the whole time there, I was like, damn. I could have definitely been in this at 11 if it had been this, difficulty level back then. Do it. Do it. That'll be fun. I also am trying to hold off on buying myself a fucking collapsible bar. Cause I'm like, I shouldn't get a collapsible bar because I don't have space for it even if it's collapsible. And then also, when I get a house, I'm gonna just build a permanent bar. Hey buddy, just lay down. Don't climb on my pillows, please. I have a set all set up there, okay? Just lay down, Bubba. Just come lay down. Okay, or lay next to your sister. That also works. That's a great spot. Lay by your sister. You broke your leg? How? Oh, dude, my fucking nose. No. Oh. Huh? What do you mean? Is there options of topics? I'm so confused. Oh, back then. Yeah, okay, no. I thought you meant, like, again, recently. I was like, how the you did it again. I was like, the other one? Or, like... It's like, you have the worst luck. Okay, good to hear you didn't do it again recently. Okay, let me get this shit pulled up here. So, we're gonna watch... If things stop being annoying. Okay, we're gonna watch... we're gonna watch... Frankie's Shelf. We're gonna watch book. Okay?
Hello. Is the holidays right around the corner?
No. Shh. Pause. Wait. Shh. Okay. Oh no, Jean! Black ice always gets you. That sucks. Oh. Oh, I hate that. Dude, my allergies. Oh god, they're like torture. I'm like low-key worried I won't be able to do the Teddy voice. Cause I can barely... What the fuck? Cause I can barely do the my voice right now. Yeah. We do not. But... I don't know what that would... Like, what would that be? I don't know what that would look like. Okay, let me... Okay, we're gonna go over here. Okay. Well, I have to pull everything up apparently, because it's gonna just be like that, isn't it? Here we go. Here is this. There. Alright, this is what we're working on. See what I mean? I have it like in 4. This is all just the same recipe 4 times, but I have it in 4 little quadrants, but I think I'll just make it in like one big thing so I can work on each one at a time. So... let's just make a copy of this. This is the full page. Oh my god, dude. I told you that at the very beginning. God damn it, dude. Okay. Hey. Yeah, I already took a lot of antihistamines today, so I can't really take any more for a few hours. Oh my god. It hurts. Okay, we're fine. I'm fine. Fuck. Okay, let me get the fucking YouTube pulled up. Okay. No. Like this. There we go. Okay.
Hello. With the holidays right around
How's
the corner,
the volume?
I think it's a fitting time to read a familial revenge story. So today we are reading
There,
Bad
turn it up
Nature by
slightly.
Ariel Courage, a book that came out earlier this year and that I was so drawn in
Hey
by
Calvin,
that I never even
you
finished reading
come
myself,
into my
because the first
chat and
sentence
ask
fell.
me
When
if you
Hester
can
is
ask a
diagnosed with
question
terminal cancer
every
on her
stream.
40th birthday,
You then
she knows
proceed
immediately
to
what she must
forget
do.
the question
Abandon
or
her
never
possessions
ask
and
it.
drive
So
to
if you don't
California to
ask
kill
me a
her
fucking
estranged
question this
father.
time, I am going to
Yes,
block
please.
you
That was all I
and ban
needed
you
to
from
know.
my
So
chat
you and I
because
are
it's
going into
annoying as
this
shit
together
and I
pretty
fucking
blind.
hate it
I'm
and you
only
literally
50
do it
pages
every
in.
stream.
I still have
So
no idea what
actually
path the
ask
story
the
is
fucking
going to
question
take and where the
or I
character is
am going to
end up,
ban you.
and I am excited to find out with you. So
And
it
if you
begins
come
with
into my
introducing
stream
us
on
to
another
Hester,
platform,
who I don't think
I
has
will
been
ban you there
addressed by
too.
her name up until this point.
So,
I only know it from that one sentence of
stop
the summary
being a
that I've
fucking
read. That's
bitch
because
and
this is
ask
told
the
in first
question.
person. And
It's
because
super
Hester
fucking
is
annoying
a very
and
isolated
weird.
human being.
What
Hester
is your
a
goal?
very interesting character, and I feel like every single page
It's
I'm learning
very
something more
bizarre.
about her,
It's
and
very
creating a
weird
clearer and
antisocial
clearer
behavior
picture
that you're
of who
doing.
she is and who she thinks of
It's
herself
really
as,
fucking
and the
weird.
difference between those two people. She is a very wealthy woman.
If you want attention, there's like a million better ways to do it that don't make you come off like a fucking weirdo.
Prefers her loneliness.
Right?
She has no family, she has no friends, no lovers, no work acquaintances, and she likes to believe that this is all by choice. It's her 40th birthday, and under no circumstances does she want
Like,
any
you never
gifts
actually
or
want
even
to
for the
say
people
anything,
at
you
her
just want
office or
attention
only
for
people
the
that she interacts
concept of
with to
saying
know that
something.
It is her birthday. Her
It's so
receptionist
fucking
gives her
weird.
this very nice leather-bound
Say
journal,
something
and
of
she thinks to
substance.
herself that the only journals she's ever had have been like very few sparse gifts throughout the years, and they've
Okay.
always been used as
This is the first
kindling
recipe.
in her apartment fireplace.
White
in her
chocolate
very
cranberry cookie
luxurious white New York City apartment fireplace.
I will
Hester
zoom
is
in
very,
if you
very
want to
wealthy. She works as a lawyer for some
get a
unnamed
little-
company, and she says that she makes more
if you
in a
wanna
year than her
screenshot
mom
that.
ever saw in her entire life. The comfort that Hester's wealth affords her is a little bit of plot armor, but as I've read on, I'm seeing that Hester's experience of wealth has more to do with her character's history and her childhood being poor
I think I wanna
than it
remember
does
this.
with the messaging that's like, being wealthy doesn't mean that you have it all. Look at this woman, she has so much
Being
money.
wealthy
but
doesn't mean that you have
she's
it all.
lonely. I don't
Just a
think
lot of
that's
money.
the direction that this book is taking, and God,
So
I hope
fucking
not.
stupid.
I don't think that's where it's going, largely because Hester is not a likable person who you really tend to feel sorry
I remember
for.
this.
The best way to describe her personality is
You're
cold.
eating
She
the
is
cookie!
ice fucking
Yes!
cold, deliberately and consciously.
By the way, I
emotionless,
like made
without being,
2
like,
batches of
super
those cookies because the
detached, which is a
first
very
batch I
fascinating
overcooked.
combination, and not one that I see all that often in
Like,
fiction.
not to
Like
the
I
point that
said,
they were
every
burnt,
moment
but they
with
were
her
just
gives us a little bit
overcooked.
more, because
So
we don't
I
get
ate those
much from
ones,
her
and
own
I made a
interior.
second batch
We
for you
see
guys
who
that was
Hester
not
is more in her
overcooked.
interactions and her habits and her choices, because a lot of who Hester
I
is
was so
is
fucking
who
mad.
she is denying that she is, and who you
I
have
literally
to
left the room for
understand
2
through the way she,
seconds.
like, speaks to others. In the first few pages of the book, she gets the bad news that you're expecting.
Who
from
can
that
read a
snippet
new
of the
book per
summary.
week?
She has terminal breast
I used to
cancer.
read a book a
Without treatment,
day.
she has 6 months to live, and with
But now I
treatment
don't
within
have time
2
to
3
do
days.
shit.
She is upset at the doctor. She is enraged
But
at
if
the
you teach
situation.
yourself how to
In
speed
her
read, you can
mind,
get a
it's
lot of
not
books
because
in.
of the grim prognosis that she's just been given.
I read
It's because this
the
doctor
last
has
Harry
looked
Potter
inside
in a
her
day.
and now knows that she is vulnerable, that she's
I taught
human,
myself
that
how
she
to
has a
speed
body
read
that can betray her, and
to
that
like
no
get
amount of
around
her
my
intelligence
dyslexia.
or
It
her
doesn't make
character or her
sense.
life
I
achievements
don't know how
could have saved her.
that
In the
ended up
end, all
working
of
for
that
me,
was
but
irrelevant.
and I
He looked
definitely
at her
missed
and
shit.
He saw that she
To be
wasn't
fair.
special, and she
It's
hates him
it,
for it.
I
Outside of the anger
I
and the
miss
hatred
things,
that
but
she
I read like
directs
the
at
whole
this
paragraph
doctor,
at
not
once.
for finding the cancer, but for seeing her as human
Goes way-
and soft.
goes way
She
faster.
feels nothing because she wants to feel nothing. She wants her mind totally blank about this. And you get the sense that there are
I
feelings
do,
that she has
sort
about this,
of.
but she considers them to be
I have
weak and
a
would never relay them
bit
to
of
the
a workout
audience.
routine up on
I
my
think it tells
website. I'm
us a
pretty
lot
sure it's up
more
on my
about
website right now.
who she is than a big,
Someone double check that
relatable,
for me. It
emotional
should be up
reaction
there.
to
If I
this
haven't
news would.
replaced
the
it, I will
doctor
do that
asks her if there's
soon.
someone that she can call to drive her home, and she says she's almost yelling when she asks the
But
question.
currently,
why?
I just
Do I
walk
seem like I'm upset?
for
That,
about
I feel like tells you so much about who this
30
person
minutes
is,
to an
and about the
hour a
biased way
day
that she's telling this story to us.
at like
In
a
this
fairly
chapter, we've
fast
seen her
speed.
look
That's
her
been
father
like
up
my
online
go-to
and feel
at the
angry when
moment.
she sees that he's moved to California. Not because she wants him close for any like chance of making amends, but because she thinks what gives him the right to change after all
pages
these
are in
years. That's really all we see
last
of
Harry
the
Potter?
two of them in this first chapter, because she's dealing with the diagnosis and with quitting her job due to what she tells everyone is a family emergency, which she knows will confuse
Okay,
them
yeah, it's
because
not
she
that bad.
works with people who know that she has absolutely no family,
not that bad.
but she doesn't care. Of course, she has no one to like confide in or to comfort her or support her with this diagnosis. She is quitting with the intention of driving across the country to California to find her dad and kill him and then herself.
No.
We get a little bit more of this father-daughter relationship in the second chapter, though she is showing tremendous
To be
restraint
fair,
in
an
telling us
audiobook
about it.
will
It's quite
always
obvious,
take
though, that it was some
longer.
pretty serious abuse that split her parents up when she was a kid. She calls it court mandated. She's one of those people very similar to like the titular Big Swiss in the book Big Swiss by Jed Began, who like refuses to define herself by her trauma. But then
Oh my
that
God.
unaddressed trauma is, to any outside eye, clearly a driving force in every single decision that she makes and thought that she has. Hester says that she knew from a young age that she was going to end up killing her father. She remembers him calling the house after the divorce and her
Okay,
whispering
I'm
like
gonna-
through gritted teeth that if he ever called again, she would kill him. This was at 13 years old. Hester was sent to court-mandated therapy where the
Let's do
psychiatrist
this.
told her mom that
I was
her
gonna
anger
have it
would
in set
mellow out
protection,
over
but
the
this is
years.
easier.
But she says it never did. That anger became a core part of who she is and how she lives in the world. It's inextricable from her personality. Like I said, she is very cold, but you don't really get the sense that she's necessarily like walking around all the time seething with rage. She's more bitter and hateful in a tired way. Even in the few pages before she knows that she's going to die very soon, it feels like she is done with the world. Not because she's depressed, but because she's angry at it and what it has done to her. But then at the same time, she refuses to be a victim. She's jumping through a lot of loops in her head. She is making herself someone that she can't possibly be. You know what I mean? Chemo isn't even really a choice that registers to her. Instead, she packs up her corporate lawyer wardrobe, her mom's ashes, and a gun into her fancy car, and she
What the
heads
hell?
west. On the topic of her mom, it's important to note that her mom also died quite young of an aggressive cancer, and Hester watched the treatments that she had destroy her in the end. And that's obviously a large contributor to Hester's decision not to have it.
There we go.
She also believes that her dad's, I want to say abuse, but again, she hasn't called it that, and she's trying to like step around what her father has done to her and her mom and their family. So I won't quite call it that, but she believes that his presence in her mom's life is what ultimately led to her death. There's a lot going on with Hester, okay? She starts driving in her fancy-ass car, and she gets to Pennsylvania, where she pulls over for some McDonald's, a meal that she hasn't had since her parents were still together, and her dad would like secretly take her out for it.
That's good.
In all of 10 minutes at this McDonald's,
Numbered.
her car is stolen. She calls the police, and they bring her back to the station, and she's like, okay, well, I'm gonna need to buy another car. Can someone take me to the dealership? And the police look at her like
With
she's
all the
insane. They're like,
pauses removed,
"No,
what
you
the
can't
hell?
just buy
How the
a
fuck?
new car in a state where you don't live. Like, that's not how this works. It takes time to get plated and registered. Like, absolutely not. This is the kind of friction that the
See,
very
I just
wealthy
read
can
really
typically
fucking
afford to
fast.
avoid. As the book goes on, it's becoming
So
more and
reading
more
is way
clear that
faster
this
for
new
me.
money aspect of Hester's character is
Unless
going
I
to be
just woke
quite
up and then
meaningful. She acts like her wealth
don't
doesn't
ask me
phase
to
her,
read
but growing up
anything.
in a poor household with a dad who thought he was like an artist and was waiting for his big break
It will
and never
be
contributed,
pointless.
and then
I'll
with a
have to
poor
read it
single
10
mother,
times
has had
before
a
it
very
sinks in.
significant effect on her. She's also not someone who really knows how to be rich. She pays other people to figure it out for her, like to decorate her apartment in a way that seems warm to guests that she might have, very infrequent guests that she might have, or like someone to buy her clothes that would make sense for her high-paying job. Wealth is a privilege that Hester both doesn't fit comfortably into and can't possibly imagine her life without. After she ends up renting a car, of course, she picks up a man on the side of the road.
Yeah, tracking where you are on the page helps a lot.
She picks him up with the intention of having sex with him. Hester has had exactly one ex, which seems like it will be significant, but she does often have sex with men that she finds repulsive. There's something erotic about this to her. She does regret this intention with John, though, because he's kind of like a preachy, annoying environmental activist in her eyes. In a way, he's a foil to Hester. He has really strong morals, which she does not. But like her, he is very misguided. He's been hitchhiking around the country, taking photos of sites of industrial pollution, which, you know, like, hell yeah, bring awareness. But also, as Hester points out, what is a photo of polluted soil really going to do? It's not like you can see the pollution in the photo of the soil. Having not read the entire summary, I had and still have no idea the significance of the character of John in the larger scheme of the story. The two of them make it to the next area of pollution on John's list, and despite his protests, she gets out of the car with him and they climb over the fence together. She has a few memories of her dad and her childhood here, but nothing that is all that telling yet. It's like her asking him why the sky is blue and him insisting that it's green. It gives you a little bit, but I think more upon reflection once we've read more of the story, you know? John and Hester are caught on this private U.S. property, and he runs. But she's like, I'm not going to do that.
Hey, where do I want this?
She does have a memory here that's a little bit more important, I think, of her running through the woods as a child, feeling all shaky and disoriented, being whipped by sharp reeds, obviously escaping some danger. Presumably her father, but again, Hester keeps herself at such a distance from whatever this man has done to her that we really have no idea at this point. She tells the security guard that she was looking for her dog, and he knows that she's bullshitting, and he's kind of pissed off, but she doesn't care. She doesn't even make an effort to get him to believe her. He escorts her out, and she gets back to the car, and John is gone. And that is where I'm at so far. And I'm actually really loving reading a book that I don't yet have a sense of the trajectory of. Like, is that the end for John? Will he reappear in the next few pages and be a major part of this story? I have absolutely no idea. And I also don't know where we're going with Hester's character. I feel like there's kind of two ways that her arc could go, and I can see myself as being disappointed or satisfied with either option depending on the way it's done. Like, she kind of just either kills her dad or she doesn't. And I want her to kill her dad because, of course, like, I want the fucking drama. But I also think that there's a way that Ariel Courage handles this story where I'm all right if she doesn't do that. Though I feel like it'll be a harder task, and especially a harder task to keep in line with Hester's character. One done. Of course, if I get a good ways into this book and I still don't know where the general arc of the story is headed, it'll be hard to care about what happens, and there won't be very much tension. I'm sure there's a point where I get bored of this feeling, but right now, it's kind of reflecting the unplanned cross-country road trip that Hester is taking, and I think it's very fun for the possibilities of the story to feel so open while the character herself feels so rigid and unchangeable. I also don't know if I'm supposed to be feeling like this because I don't know what the rest of the summary says and I'm not going to read it. I don't want to know anything else. All I want to know is that Hester's driving across the country to kill her father, and that's awesome. I am going to keep reading, and I will update you somewhere in the midst of this.
I did not. Why do I have 3 to 4 here?
I'll see you then. Okay, I'm back. We're now 130 pages in, which is a little bit under halfway through Bad Nature. So Hester keeps driving without John, and she gets to Pittsburgh, where her one and only ex-boyfriend now lives. Since her car was stolen, she no longer has any clothes, so there's a sequence where she goes thrift shopping. Of course, not because she has to. She has a lot of money.
Anyway.
Have I mentioned that she has a lot of money? She goes thrift shopping for a little bit of nostalgia. There's a comfortable familiarity in it. It makes her think of her mom and needing to thrift shop with her as a kid. This is a quick scene, but I think it's really telling of Hester's character. She is in this thrift store buying completely random things. Sundresses and winter coats and like 7 sports bras and hiking boots. She has no idea what she's doing. She has no idea who she is, what she'll need, how she wants to express herself and project herself to others, how to buy things for herself, how to make choices. She is out of touch with herself and with like the simplest, most everyday decisions around how to be a human in the world. They are completely foreign to her. There's also a visceral quality to these unwashed thrift store clothes. She changes into one of the dresses that she bought, and she only realizes later that it's covered in the white streaks of someone else's deodorant, which even after noticing, she doesn't really care to put in an effort to change. Anyway, she puts this dress on before going into the restaurant where her ex Caleb now works as the head chef. She orders her meal and then immediately goes to the bathroom, but she takes a sharp turn into the kitchen, where she is now like in the back of house and comes face to face with Caleb. There's a moment where they stare at each other and she strikes fear into his heart clearly, whether just through being in front of him unexpectedly or the unhinged method through which she's done it. She is escorted out of the kitchen before they can really say anything to each other, but she waits around for him to get off work, all the while thinking about their past relationship. The book doesn't quite alternate between memory and present-day narrative chapters, but the memories are thrown in frequently and often told within their own chapters. So in this chapter, thinking about Caleb and their relationship, Hester remembers like her aversion to and her hatred of and her disinterest in men and boys generally as a young woman, always thinking that what men do is break your heart and ruin your life because that's what had been modeled for her by her parents. In university, though, she made a hard pivot into excessive, impulsive, indiscriminate sex and promiscuity. She talks of men here as like creatures, all with similar motivations and dispositions and reactions that she has studied to get what she wants out of them, though never betraying herself or debasing herself in the process of getting sex. More like studying how to be her stony and argumentative self in a way that drew them in. So Caleb was the first boy who didn't just unquestioningly go along with her when she tried to kiss him in a club before they had even spoken a single word to each other. Their relationship lasted for a few years while they were university students, and we see both of their inauthenticities, thinking of themselves as special and better than everyone else for not succumbing to the demands of capitalism and the social contract, living in filth and quoting philosophy to each other. He's more like punk and activist and connected to others about it, while she is far more self-centered in all of her actions, and her lack of punk values makes his friends call his punkness into question. He also kind of seems like he hates women, and they have a toxic, cruel relationship where they are both mean and a little bit violent to each other. Hester, so interestingly, is very jealous of Caleb's ex during their relationship. This is not an emotion that we've seen from her ever at this point, and it's this kind of like meaningless, ordinary pettiness that you don't really expect out of her. She's also recounting it in a very candid way that she doesn't usually employ. She's not twisting this into something else to make herself look cooler and unexpected, like how she's done with everything else in the book so far. Every interaction with a person from Hester's past brings up memories that make her more human, and that she seems more okay with being human in. Caleb gets off work and he takes her to his apartment, where he has this distant, cold, annoyance-masking anxiety persona that seems realistic for someone who has been randomly faced with an ex whose life he just up and disappeared from 20 years ago. He admits to her that he's going to start therapy soon in the hopes that his girlfriend will come back, and then Hester pretty much immediately starts undressing, which made me want to crawl into a hole. But it doesn't backfire miserably for her. They do have sex, and when they're finished, he admits that he had been afraid she was coming back in his life to accuse him of not being good to her. She says, "Oh no, I wouldn't do that. I chose to be treated like that," which is a loaded thing to unpack, and who knows if
I guess so, because he always does this. So, since Calvin did not ask the fucking question,
who he is now. He tells the story of running away from his life, really struggling with alcoholism, managing to secure jobs and housing, and then fucking it up over and over again. One day he was kicked out of his housing situation, and he showed up to his work as a janitor in an office, more intoxicated than he had ever been before, and he accidentally knocked over one of the office workers' like little plastic toys that he collected and put up.
Oh, you're so right.
And the worker was pissed off and spoke to him very disparagingly and condescendingly, like people often treat janitors. Caleb, knowing that his life was falling apart, stayed after hours, collected all the toys in the office, and set them up like a little army in one of the conference rooms, and then passed out cold, waking up in the morning to one of the head bosses screaming in his face. This was one of the first things to ever like kick his butt into action. It sent him into AA, it got him to call his dad, who he'd always hated, and start to amend their relationship. I think it's interesting how I feel the need to relay this story that Caleb tells to you, because narratively, it isn't really all that important, and therefore it should be kind of boring when you read it. But it had me totally captivated. You can say that it's showing us Hester being drawn to other broken people, particularly ones with strained parental relationships. And I bet there's even more symbolic meaning in here that I'm missing. But this story acts more as an emotional catharsis and a closure for Hester, and for us, the audience, who are in her head this whole time. It also shows someone who has had it rough, who has been bad to others and is trying to be better. And it's not a full inspirational view of this person. It's very raw and real. But it is someone that Hester could have ended up like. And it shows a version of Hester that she could have been, and that version is someone who is deciding to be better. Deciding that they want to change. After he's finished his story, he falls asleep, and we then see the lack of reciprocation. Hester doesn't tell him anything about what's happening with her, and he doesn't ask. While he's sleeping, this is the first time that she lets us see her obsessing and panicking over her tumor, Googling all night long, like looking at images of tumors, and hoping, though she's not sure why, that he will wake up and ask her what she's doing so that she can finally have someone to tell. It is hard to like Hester with her casual cruelty and her self-imposed isolation and her need to be seen by others as uncaring and unbothered, but it's also hard not to feel sorry for her, a feeling that I'm sure she would resent, but that she's allowing us to do more and more as she peels back the layers of her life. Here with Caleb and in her memories of their history together, we get to see her as the most flappable, emotional, weak, and human version of Hester that we've got so far. It's a stark contrast, but it's also not a complete betrayal. She still has her personality, but her feelings have been transported back to the way she was when she was in her early 20s. She's self-conscious for the first time in the story, the lack of which has made her very distant from any reader's experience of living in the world. While we're seeing a more nuanced version of Hester, we are also still seeing Hester. Like I said, this is still her personality, so of course she leaves before he wakes up in the morning. And while yes, there still isn't a sense of direction in the narrative or character arc, this chapter feels closed with her and Caleb. Though there isn't much in the way of resolution, which is more heartbreaking than Hester allows herself to feel. It's just like kind of the way things are with most goodbyes in any given person's life. Uneventful, unsatisfying, mundane. It's also sad that she's the only one who knows that this is their final goodbye, but it's more sad that this is one of very few final goodbyes in Hester's lonely life. She continues on her way across the country, heading for Chicago as fast as she can, but so devoid of stimuli on the drive that she starts thinking about her childhood and her father's impact on it. Their family home was very isolated in the forest, and Hester spent a lot of time alone as the only child, miles away from any other neighbors, outside in the woods, trying to avoid the tension in her household and her father's cruelty towards her mom. He was a remote thrower. He was a wall puncher. Not in a way that's described as necessarily being short-tempered, though. It seems more calculated than that. She tells the story of him rummaging through a cupboard in the kitchen before saying catch and then chucking a champagne flute at her mom's head. Even with more details, it's still difficult to conjure a full picture of what was going on in this house. When she was really young, before she had this unwavering idea that she would kill her father one day, Hester felt a confusing mix of admiration for and fear of her dad. The uncertainty of where to place an authority figure.
To be fair, he doesn't make biscuits that often in general.
But scares you. Hester's finally drawn out of her memories when she pulls over to stretch at a gas station, and her rental car will no longer.
He didn't eat anything.
It's evening
well,
at this
maybe
point,
he has a
and the gas
hairball.
station
He's just been
attendant is
throwing up
exceptionally
and not feeling
helpful.
good,
They're
so
in the
he's
middle
getting
of nowhere, and he tells her that no tow truck will come pick her up at this hour.
Hopefully.
No mechanic is open. There are no Ubers or taxis. No hotels in the area. She asks if they'll drive her somewhere, and he says, no, I have 3 DUIs. And she's like, aren't you like 16? And he's like, no, I'm 22. He does monotonously and flippantly offer to put her up in his grandparents' house for $200, which she knows they will see none of. She says, absolutely not, I'm not doing that. She goes back to her car. She has locked herself out of the car, and all of her shit is still inside of it. So she turns around and she says, okay, fine, but I'll only pay you $150. Not that the money matters to her. Just to make a point. They walk to his grandparents' place, and the two of them don't even really look up from the TV when he tells them that she'll be spending the night there, and he then takes her upstairs and like bashfully kicks the floor and says, do you think I could get a tuggy? It'll be quick. It won't be too long. And she's like, oh, I'm sure it'll be quick. But no, we're not going to do that. The possibility of sexual violence is not lost on her, but she's also not too worried about it. She thinks if worst comes to worst, he's a scrawny, meek little thing, and she could fight him off easily. She spends the night safe, but a little bit unnerved in the bedroom of the gas station attendant's dead mother. It's like a preserved time capsule with all of her stuff exactly as it was, and also a gun. There's a gun in a lockbox. She steals the gun. One sleepless night later, she goes down into the living room in the morning to find the attendant crushing up blue pills and snorting them with his grandparents just in the other room. And he's like, oh, they're old. They won't notice. They don't really notice this kind of thing. He also openly tells her that his mom committed suicide. She asks if she can buy that gun, and he says no. It's my mom's. And then he and his grandfather take her to the gas station and then follow behind the tow truck to the mechanic. The grandfather is there to drive the truck back after they drop her off, but she is the one who drives their truck there, which is fascinating. This is just like a group of very strange people who have all trusted each other to an almost disturbing degree. It's also once again Hester's tendency to be drawn to people with messed up parental situations. Though, she and I, and probably you, have misread how this gas station attendant feels about his life. When she says goodbye to him, he is very high from snorting the pills, and she tells him that she left him a bunch of money and he should use it to get out of his grandparents' house, with like the shrine to his dead mother and the stinky ferrets. There were ferrets, by the way, they had 2 ferrets. And all glossy-eyed, he says, "You're a mean lady. I love those ferrets and I love my life. You're hot, but you're so mean." And that is that for that interaction. We're getting into the groove of this book now. It's Hester meeting people who are always strange and intriguing characters and then kind of moving along on her way. The people she meets are reflecting things about her or bringing things out in her or reminding her of things or showing her alternate ways that her life could have gone, but it isn't beating you over the head with whatever it's trying to tell you with each interaction, which I do really appreciate because that gets tired fast and I don't want to be like preached at, and preachiness wouldn't work with Hester's voice anyway. I do think though that the intentions of these interactions are bordering on being a little bit too opaque. If I wasn't sitting here and really thinking about how I interpreted things and what I thought they meant, I could imagine reading a lot of these scenes in this book and thinking, okay, so what? It is asking something from you, which always makes a piece of fiction more rewarding, but it also means that you have to read it at the right time when you're willing to put some work in. Anyway, speaking of interactions with people, Hester gets a new rental car and she goes on her way to the city, and who does she run into but fucking John? She passes him hitchhiking on the side of the road just like last time. She pulls over a few meters ahead and she waits for him to like slowly meander up to her passenger side, where he leans down to give her the spiel and then realizes that it's her, and he goes, "This is a completely different car," which I thought was hilarious. I don't know, I love that. Hester agrees to go on John's little side quest taking photos of abandoned pollution sites because she feels like the road trip is going too quickly. She is getting too close too fast, and she isn't really ready to die yet. They drive for a while, they make it to the ammunition processing plant that John was headed for, where they find some kids like skateboarding in one of the abandoned buildings, and Hester tries to play it cool and aloof and uncaring, but she comes to understand that they don't see her as a peer, and therefore someone that they could pick on or dislike or even really have any opinion on, because she is old, because she has changed. She likes to think of herself as someone who is unchangeable, who doesn't blame her trauma for how she is, but who was undeniably, irretrievably affected by it, and now can never be a different kind of person. And that has also given her a little bit of arrested development in how she sees herself in terms of age, which is going to come up more in the next interaction that she has, but we're not quite there yet. Her and John look for a hotel, but there's some sort of event happening in the city, which they're in Chicago now, so the only room that they can find is at an ultra-luxurious hotel, where John, who Hester calls a street person, does not fit in. He doesn't care about being dirty or rough around the edges and not physically or aesthetically fitting in. This kind of place goes totally against his morals, and he rejects it, and he chooses to sleep outside instead. She does make him agree at least to go for dinner with her. And then of course she takes him to a fancy restaurant, and she orders him a steak even though he's a vegetarian, and he accuses her of being a rich person, flaunting her wealth to toy with him, which is exactly what she's doing. And then he walks out. The next day, Hester goes to visit her one and only friend that she's ever had in her life from high school. She has been gunning for Chicago, but she has not let us in on why or the premeditation that has gone into this plan. She gets to Chicago, and all of a sudden she's showing up to an appointment that she has booked with her high school friend May, who is now a therapist. Of course, she has booked this appointment under false information. And she lets May believe that she's someone else for a long time. She never offers up any correction, even when May says, "I'm sorry, do we know each other? Like, you look so familiar." She's like, I just have one of those faces. It's not until May asks what brought her in for this appointment, where she says, "I keep having dreams of killing my father," that there is a long, heavy pause, and May goes, "Oh. You." Hester tries to leave pretty quickly after that, and it doesn't seem like even she knows what she wanted out of this interaction, because they haven't said anything of really any importance to each other. All they've done is see each other, which seeing each other did mean something to Hester. Hester obviously has physically changed enough from her teenage years to not be immediately recognizable, and she can see that May has changed a lot too. The focus isn't centered here in a desire to hold on to her youth. It's that need for her to be unchangeable, that need for inevitability, because how else is she going to justify her plans? May manages to convince Hester to come for dinner that night, and she agrees, thinking that there's no way that she'll actually go. But she does end up going. and she brings John with her because in the few sentences that they exchanged in that fake therapy appointment, Hester had lied and said that she and her partner were on a cross-country road trip. Obviously, she cares what May thinks more than really anyone that she's run into so far, both in terms of what May thinks of her life achievements and like hitting the goalposts of life, but also wanting May to think that the circumstances of her visit are less disturbing than the reality. Before dinner, we get a chapter of memories
for
between
2
May and
hours.
Hester. The two of them were united in high school.
Freezer.
In their, can you guess,
1
fucked up
hour.
parental situation. They both had bitterly divorced parents, but Hester wanted to believe that May's dad was just as bad as her own, where May had created a fantasy version of her dad who was this cool, artsy professor who lived in a big, beautiful apartment in the city right near Central Park. Whenever May brought up her dad, Hester would be a sarcastic pessimist, until finally May said, why don't you come visit him with me, and I can prove to you that he's not the evil man that you want him to be, that not all dads are like yours. So they skip school and they take the train into the city. They wait for him at the appointed time in a coffee shop, and he doesn't show up. As time goes on, May is getting more and more withdrawn, while Hester is barely holding back her glee at being right. But she won't be satisfied until she has seen this father, who she now knows is exactly who she thought he was, too busy and too careless to meet up with his only child. So she convinces May that he might have had a stroke or a heart attack, and they should go to his apartment to check on him, and May agrees. And when they get there, it's like a pretty nice apartment, but was also greatly exaggerated by May, of course. He lets them in, and he is clearly extremely unwell. He is a hoarder. He's pretty much incoherent, just babbling and puttering around, not making eye contact or even really recognizing that Hester is there too. So Hester was right in a way, but also she was completely wrong in a lot more ways. On the train back home, she knows that her friendship with May is over. She keeps wanting to make eye contact with her and then looking away at the very last second. Finally, she leans forward and whispers in May's ear that she's going to kill her dad. And May, as a 17-year-old, is like, that's not funny, Hester. That's really messed up, actually. And then we're back in the present at May's house for dinner, which is pretty uneventful, all things considered. There's always the threat of things ending explosively in this book, but they haven't gone there. Here we're seeing how successful May has managed to be, this very different outcome of someone with similar damage to Hester. She has a loving husband and a daughter and a beautiful home. She's well-adjusted and kind and considerate, practiced in her social behaviors, and she's also not totally unaffected by her past. In Hester's memory of May's dad's apartment, the only thing visible under all of the hoarding were the stark white keys of a piano. And there is also a piano in May's home, and there's a picture on the wall of her office of her daughter and her husband sitting at it. May openly talks about what it was like to clear out his home after he died, with contractors taking bins out slowly over the course of several weeks to not let the neighbors in on what was going on and tank the property value. John behaves pretty well here too, through one of my least favorite tropes, which is I'm pretending that you're my boyfriend, but I haven't told you that, so I'm just gonna answer questions really quickly before you can get a word in until you catch on. Hate it. Pisses me off every single time. Stop that. Just, if you don't want him to react to you telling him this, just tell him while you're waiting for her to answer the door after you rang the doorbell. Like, fuck off. I hate it. John does catch on, and he's charming enough, but when they leave, he won't stop battering Hester with questions. She doesn't want to be questioned, or doubted, or analyzed, and he won't stop no matter how many times she asks. So she hands him his backpack, and she says, you gotta leave. And he does. And once again, we are left uncertain about John's role in the rest of the story. I wouldn't be surprised or even angry at the absolute ridiculousness of them meeting up again later on in a different city. But this is all I've read up to, so I don't know what becomes of John's fate. I don't even know if she leaves Chicago without him. I'm liking right now that all of the memories that we're seeing of Hester's younger years shows us this lifelong pattern of her trying to be someone else. It's more superficial when she's younger with May, where she wants to be cool like May. She wants to be May. She wishes that she had ordered black coffee like May had, because that seems hard and edgy. And then as she gets older, it's getting more internal. It's more about her view of herself than how others see her, though that part still is, of course, important. We're watching Hester form herself. She doesn't want us to think that her experiences are what formed her. Though, of course, that is delusion. And a lot of Hester's thoughts about herself and the formation of herself and the effect her childhood has had on her are contradictory. They don't make sense. Thinking more frequently about her childhood is making Hester experience more emotions than she did at the start of the book, and when she does experience these emotions, they momentarily paralyze her before they pass. as though all that can get through her internal walls are the feelings that she can't prepare for. When this happens, she also feels confused about why things make her feel a certain way, why an emotion has come up like this. Because
Yes,
feeling
sugar
regret
plum
or shame,
thumbprint
which are the two
cookies.
major
Let's go.
emotions that she has been feeling.
Optionally, you can
that
also
goes
roll
totally
them in
against the
sugar
persona that she has
before
so
you
carefully
fill
curated.
them.
So far, I don't think this book is written like absolutely perfectly, but I do think it's doing a good job at what it's trying to do because it is so character focused. I won't really know how much I like this book until I see how it's wrapped up and like where her arc goes. But at the moment, I'm very intrigued, and I want to know more about Hester, and I want to know where
No,
Ariel
Jean,
Courage
those just
is
make
going
it
to take
worse
this
for
story.
me.
So I will update you when I am another.
My nose is, like,
I don't know,
way too
70 or
sensitive.
so pages in. Okay, bye. Hello, I am like 60 pages from the end now, and I've come here for another little update. The book, the story, the character arc, it certainly has not all come together
At most, I can
yet,
use, like, a
but I'm still
humidifier,
really loving
but-
it. I'm endlessly interested in both Hester's present and past, and I have a feeling that it is going to all wrap up in the end.
I
So
know,
Hester
I
does
know. They're
leave
not in
Chicago
there,
without John.
unfortunately.
The
I
night
did
that she
not get
kicks
to
him out,
make
she can't
those.
sleep. This isn't a new problem for
I did
her.
not get to
She's
make
been
those
having
this
more
year.
and more trouble sleeping the closer that she gets to her dad, and the more that her tumor and her cancer
And this
her
recipe
pain
will be up on my
progresses and
website.
becomes impossible to ignore. But she does know what would fix her sleeplessness this time.
Can also
She's too stubborn
optionally,
to
like,
admit it, though.
add
So she tells herself that she's going for a drive to clear her head, and she's not looking
food
for
coloring
John.
to it.
And then the next sentence is,
Make
"I
it
found him
even
at the
more
lake."
fun.
It's a torrential downpour. It's the middle of the night, and he's just standing there on the shore. And when she calls him over to the car, he looks in at her, and his face is almost like harrowed. His eyes
see
are
if I can
feral. He
find
tells her that a
an
couple of
outline
months
of a
ago, the
thumbprint
place where he is
cookie.
currently standing would have been ankle deep in water.
Oh,
and then he lists
no,
some
I'm not gonna be
catastrophic
able to,
climate
am
change
I?
statistics. And then this moment passes.
I
and he
am.
gets
Oh
it.
my god,
They sleep
yes!
that night in their hotel room, and in the morning,
Oh.
she feels like she's missing a piece from the night before, but she can't dredge up the memory. The two of them leave, and they start
Perfect.
road tripping all over the Midwest. She is killing time. She'll take John wherever he wants to go, as long as it isn't back the way she came. Because even though she
I'm
can
gonna put this in
recognize her desire
front.
to draw this out longer, she also does need to maintain a sense of forward momentum. Her and John are visiting Superfund sites, which for non-Americans like me, those are sites that the Environmental Protection Agency has called for remediation and cleanup of hazardous waste. And while they're doing this, they are arguing endlessly about answerless issues regarding environmentalism and climate change. It's not that
Why?
Hester doesn't believe in climate change, but she doesn't believe in doing anything to fight it. Like we've
Okay.
established, she's a really self-centered person. The two of them also differ on
No
where
kidding.
to lay blame. Her being a lawyer, she is so insistent on having some tangible, suable entity to condemn, while he is more focused on the systemic aspect of it, which does make him pretty openly hopeless. He tells her that he knows what he's doing won't make a difference, but doing this photography and logging of data at least makes him feel better. He also logs all of his own environmental consumerist sins in an obsessive way. He can name the emissions and the impact of basically any choice an American can make. And watching him do this makes Hester think, not really with any regret, of the kinds of claims that she was protecting the company she worked for against. How actively she fought John's plight.
That
How
should
many
work.
millions of dollars in like cleanup fees she brought down over the years. She then
Nice.
starts thinking about when she was a junior associate at this firm,
And
how
what's
the
in front?
oldest and the least well-liked partner there, Robert, took a liking to her because she
Game's
took
trying
him
on
up
the other
on this
side.
well-used, sarcastic offer to take any of the younger women or effeminate
on.
men in the office to the shooting range. When she took him up on this, one of the older women at the firm told her that she didn't have to go, like she didn't need to suck up to him, and she thought to herself that it would be more shameful and weird to admit
Should
that
have it
she
over there.
wanted to go because she was curious. Whether it says it pretty directly like this chapter or not, every memory that Hester relays to
God
us
damn it.
is an addition to the picture of premeditation that we're building that is leading her to killing her dad. And while I don't really want her to kill herself, the whole story being so implicitly and explicitly about her doing it is making me feel like it's gotta happen. And Ariel Courage would have to pull something crazy and unexpected for me to change my mind about that. She could, but it's gonna be a tough feat. This is very different to how I felt at the beginning when I was thinking that this
Okay.
could go either way. Though I do think back then I was still believing that the most satisfying thing would be for her to kill her dad. Now I can hardly imagine a satisfying story where she doesn't. Anyway, in the
Perfect.
present, they're in an abandoned ghost town in Arkansas during one of their many arguments
Sure,
about blame
thumbprint
and
cookies.
usefulness when it comes to environmental activism.
This on the other
John
side.
and Hester are just about shot and killed by a man who is recklessly hunting out of season. The man
Wait.
does kill
Actually,
the deer
no,
that he was
it's on the other
actually
side.
aiming for, and then John starts yelling at him about how
Never
irresponsible
mind.
and dangerous he is. And the man surprises them with gentleness. He's super apologetic and nice, John is
Deviled
still
eggs?
both scared
What?
after just about being shot, rightfully angry about this guy breaking the rules, and a vegetarian who has just watched a deer be illegally killed right in front of him. Hester, on the other hand,
There
wants to
we
piss John
go.
off further, and also has been
Perfect.
thinking a lot about guns and death, so she takes up the hunter's offer to go for beers after he's done dressing the animal. And she goes over
Yay,
to
okay.
watch him take this deer apart.
Next
It's a test for her
one.
to see how well she can handle the blood and the gore and the corpse of it all. When he's done, he again invites them back to his place for beer and deer, but she declines at this point, knowing that she won't be able to pass the next test of eating the creature that she has just
This is
watched
the easiest
die and
one.
then be
This
taken
next
apart.
one is the
So
easiest
Hester
one.
and John head on their way, but not before Hester lets John borrow her phone to report this hunter, because he is still pacing back and forth about this. They drive for a while, and then a siren whoops behind them. Both of the people in the car panic. Hester because of the stolen gun that she has loose and unsecured in the glove box, and John because, as he admits to her while they wait for the cop to saunter slowly over to their car, he has a warrant out for his arrest. There's a tense scene with a jackass cop who's trying all the tricks to get them to squirm, like he sits waiting in his car forever, letting them panic. He's a dick about the state where their plates are from, which they have no connection to. It's a rental car. Hester swears she hears him ask, "Fuck." She tries to sweet talk her way out of it, but he does ask for her license and registration. The registration that, of course, is in the glove box. She closes
The
her
funny
eyes
part is
as
there's
John
not even
reaches for
eggs
it,
in the
and then the
thumbprint
papers
cookies.
are in her hand. But as she's passing them to the cop,
'Cause
his
it's
radio
shortbread.
crackles up and he gets in his
God,
car
now
in a
I'm
hurry
crying.
and he drives off. There is a way this scene could have
My
gone
eyes
where it
keep
had
waters.
no tension, because with 100 pages left in the book at this point, you know that Hester isn't going to spend the rest of them in a prison cell. But the possibility that she kills the cop
Okay.
and then goes on the run is very much present here. There's certainly a feeling you get while reading it that this either all ends up okay or it goes absolutely tits up. And I don't think that's really coming across in the way that I'm explaining it to you. It's just something that you get when you're reading the scene. Hester drills John about his arrest warrant, and to no one's surprise, he explains that he has engaged in some ecotage, which, felony vandalism of sites belonging to the American government is a kind of a big deal, and also proof that John can put his money where his mouth is.
Oh, man.
John is really concerned about the gun, and he finally tells Hester that the night that she picked him back up out of the rain, the one where she felt that she had lost some important memory, she had told him that she was dying of cancer. Upon hearing this, of course, her first question is, "Did I tell you anything else?" And he says, "No, what else would there be for you to tell me?" He just wants to hear her say that she isn't planning on using the gun to take her own life. I think it's both sad and fitting that we don't get to see the one time Hester tells someone that she's sick on the page, and also that she doesn't get to remember that. She asks him why he doesn't want her to take her own life, kind of hoping that he'll say, "Because I'll miss you," or "Because I like you," but he says it's because it's a crime against creation. John is very religious. He grew up in a really Catholic family with 6 or 7
Oof,
siblings.
you got
He went
this.
to seminary
These are definitely
school,
the easiest
and
ones,
he can preach about his
like,
religious
not even
beliefs the
close.
same way he can his environmental ones. But he isn't as annoying as you might expect, because unlike with his environmentalism, he doesn't talk about God or religion with the basis, the root belief that you should believe what
It's
he does.
literally
He's
4
pretty level-headed about
ingredients.
it. He's aware that people don't really want to be preached at about religion, and that he isn't going to do anything by
5.
bringing it up all the time. It only comes up when Hester asks about it. It is an easy-to-forget aspect of John's character, but one that is important to who he is, and I think adds a lot more depth. I would be really interested with him to see him questioning or justifying his God's part in climate change, or to see if that's in his eyes a human affront to both God and the planet. After a moment of calming down, they keep driving, and then they come across the scene that the cop was called to, which is an oil tanker on its side across the highway. The next chapter is another memory. This one a few weeks after her mom died, where she found a child support check in the glove box of her mom's car, and on it an address. So of course, as I think an 18-year-old, Hester drove to her dad's house, which was in this new development with nothing else around, just identical duplexes on recently turned earth, not even grass in sight. The barrenness of this is very visceral. When she knocked on his door, she could feel that there was someone inside standing just on the other side of the door.
Not
so
cold,
she kept
but,
knocking
not
louder
hot.
and louder. And then when
Otherwise
she doesn't
they'll
get an
curdle the
answer, she
eggs.
peeks through the blinds, and she sees the silhouette of her dad there staring at her and recognizing her. And he turns and he books it through the house to the back. By the time she gets around the other side of the building, he has
These cookies
already
are
disappeared
cheating.
into the woods, having jumped out of the kitchen window. She watches him book it, like literally sprint away from her. She wishes that she feels some pride in her presence alone being enough to scare him into running, but she just feels humiliated at being related to this man. She hoists herself up through the window and into his home, which even years after the divorce seems like the empty home of someone who was just starting over. Like there's one sweater in the closet, sparse furniture, a single jar of store-bought sauce in the kitchen. The only thing in here, in this entire area, that really says anything human.
What else would you use other than butter to make
people
cookies?
Living here and like existing here as fully formed human beings are a sketchbook and a vial of India ink on the table. Hester finds this ink absolutely intoxicating, and she sits in the spot that he was probably sitting
What do you
before she
use?
knocked. And then she slowly, methodically tips this ink over, and she watches it spill across the table and seep
Not
into
lard.
everything. And then
That's
she
for
takes
beans.
one big, long lick of it across the sip, and with her whole mouth stained black, she leaves. I have to say, I love that
margarine
it
does
isn't
not
always
go in
immediately
cookies.
clear what has triggered a memory for Hester. I think it gets really repetitive and really boring and even irritating
it
for the
doesn't
book to
work.
go, I saw the oil spill, and then I thought of the ink, and then get into the
I mean, if
memory.
you
For the
have like an
triggering moment to
allergy or
come
something,
later
that's
in the story
different.
that
That
she
makes
tells, for it
sense.
not to be so overt
Imagination.
and so clear right away, just a bit of imagery and not the most important part of the story, that really works for me, and I'm loving it. And I
You
know that
only
there
just
are
recently
memories
learned
that
that's how
come
red
up in
velvets
this
make?
book that
Yeah, you
I
need
have
to
not
use,
connected
like,
to the present day in the same way that the author
traditional
did when she
like
wrote
Dutch
them,
process,
and I
like
really
high
like that.
quality
This
cocoa
one is pretty
powder,
clear, but sometimes
and
it
then if
feels
you
like a
do
little Easter egg
like
that
the
Ariel
correct
Courage
red
is
velvet
leaving for you
recipe,
and that you don't
it will just
need
naturally
to
turn
get.
red.
And I think that's a
That's
really
what
hard
happens to
line to
cocoa
walk.
powder.
In the present day,
Dutch
John and Hester have
process
made their
cocoa
way
powder.
to Texas. Hester is getting sicker, and she's trying to ignore it. Of course, she now wraps her chest in
Yeah, you have
bandages
to
every
use
single
butter.
day, which helps dull the pain that comes when
People
she eats.
cheated with
she
beet
doesn't
juice.
eat when she takes too big of a breath. When
I
she
mean,
doesn't
beet
get enough
juice
sleep,
also
which
sounds
she
good in
never
cake,
does.
I'm
The
gonna be
bandages also
honest.
protect
That
the
probably
wound that has
slaps. It's
formed
probably
in her
super
skin.
moist.
At one point, she passes out, and after she comes to, she tells John that it was just because she hasn't eaten. So they end up at a grocery store. When Hester leaves the grocery store with a handful of food, she is met with a brawl of 4 men, and it takes her a moment to realize that John is one of them. They're all shooed
Dude, I
away by the
can't drink
grocery
whole
store's
milk.
owner, and he has 2
I can use
gnarly
it to
black
bake
eyes
with
and
stuff 'cause it
possibly a
gets
broken
cooked,
nose, and he tells her
and
that
it's
one of
like
the
a
men
small
threw his
amount
beer
or
can
whatever.
on the ground, and John got out of the
But I
car
can't do
and
milk.
threw the beer can into the garbage, and they didn't like that. Before the owner came out and started hitting them with the broom, getting
You
them
guys
to
like the
leave,
word
John
moist?
was yelling for Hester to
It's
get
always
the
funny
gun,
when people
and
don't
even
like the word
afterwards, he
moist,
stands
like,
by this, and she's
why?
surprised that this guy who she had read
don't
as
get
a
it.
pacifist is
This
so
is
quick to violence.
all of the
surprise,
ingredients,
though,
by the
doesn't
way.
make her feel
That's
like
it.
she's in danger around him. While from an outsider's perspective, with
literally
just the
it.
facts of their story and their relationship, that might seem wildly naive and irresponsible. You, as the reader as well, you don't get the sense that John is a danger to Hester or ever will be. The next chapter is another memory. This one centered around that older guy at the firm, Robert. Robert and Hester became weirdly good friends, despite his personality and belief system and bigotry and a general vibe. They go to the shooting range together regularly. He uses his connections to help expedite the process of her getting a gun license, and then he gifts her her first
What do
gun
you guys
for her
call
birthday.
parchment paper? Do you
A
call it
gift that
parchment
she
paper,
willingly
wax
accepts,
paper,
despite just
or
8 years later talking about how much
something
she hates
else?
gifts and how she would do anything to avoid her coworkers finding out about her birthday. We, of course, know
No,
why she wants
not
this gun. It was never the terminal
tuberculosis!
cancer diagnosis that kicked her into action with killing her dad. That was just the final push to execute a plan that had been in the making for at least 30 years. Once Hester had that first
People
gun in
made the word
apartment, it
moist
was all she could
dirty?
think about. She couldn't sleep with it
How?
around. She started getting superstitious and obsessive, which only worsened when one sleepless night the idea came to her that she should shoot herself. Not to kill, but to maim. To know
It
what she
is,
was
but,
getting
like,
into.
people
We learn
use
here
it
that her plan had
interchangeably.
always been not just to kill her dad, but
And
to
personally,
then
I
kill
like
herself.
parchment paper
and she
better.
wants to prove to herself that she isn't this mentally unwell person fantasizing about a plan that she'll never enact, but someone who has made a serious commitment that she plans to follow through on. So for a few years, that is constantly on her mind. She often holds the gun and
They're
aims it
really
at her
only
foot
slightly
just for
different.
practice. I have forgot to mention, but there have been a few times where she's talked about this injury to her foot. And as soon as the idea of shooting herself to test out what
Well,
it's like
obviously
comes up,
you use
you know that that's
food-safe
where
wax
this is going.
paper.
But she does put it in her back pocket for a few years until that friend of hers, Robert, is accused of sexual misconduct by a younger woman at the firm. Hester justifies not immediately cutting
What
Robert
kind of
out of her life
fuck-ass
by saying
wax
that she
paper are you
didn't
guys
want to believe she
using?
was capable of such a gross misjudgment of character. She also does downplay what he's been accused of. He's put on leave to start the process of slowly firing him, and months into this, he comes to Hester and pathetically, desperately, and angrily, like feeling like he's been wronged.
I have never had that happen.
He begs her to help him out, to defend him as
What are
his
you guys
friend,
doing
and of
to your
course,
wax
importantly,
paper? I'm
as
so
a woman who is
confused.
his friend. She tells him that she won't do it, and she uses the advice that he has always given her about her career, which is don't take a winning case. He sulks out of her
parchment paper's
office,
way
and she
better
goes
than
home that
silicone
night.
mat. You have to
For the first
fucking
time in
clean the
months, she
silicone
picks
mat.
up the
It's
gun
annoying.
and, without overthinking it, shoots herself in the foot. After the blood and the gore and the staring through the hole that she's created in her own body, being rushed to hospital and months of recovery, when she returns to work, Robert's office is of course
Are you
empty,
guys
and she did
baking
not
it
get
at like
promoted to fill his spot as partner at
425
this
degrees
firm.
or
Back to the
something like
present,
that?
Hester and John
How
have
hot
made
are
it
you
to
cooking the
West
wax
Texas,
paper?
where they get to a super fun site currently being converted into a strip mall, protected by tall barbed wire fences. John has a plan to do more than just take photos, but he won't let Hester in on it. He does hand her some extra large men's socks to cover up her boot prints with, and then they scale the fence and he tells her to wait where she is, which you do have to kind of think to yourself, why would she scale the fence at all if you were going to tell her to wait? But sometimes a story does just feel like a story. This was an author writing this in so that the next few things could happen, you know? John does some sort of damage to the vehicles on site, and then they're caught by a security guard as they leave. And while Hester tries her sweet-talking tactic, John's bloody and beaten face from that fistfight makes the guard cuff them and bring them back to his trailer. But he hasn't called her, which Hester thinks is a good sign. So she then pulls out the big guns.
Yeah, no, I've never had this problem with wax paper. Like,
way too
wax
well.
paper is great because if you use wax paper properly,
out of the room
and like, if you heat up wax paper, it becomes moldable and holds
but he
its
does
form.
take off her clothes,
and it's
then
very
her bandages,
nice.
And he is faced with this massive wound over her chest, which makes him stop dead in his tracks and accuse her of being a drug
I guess if
user.
you're cooking
And
it
then
at like
he's too
super high
ashamed to
temperatures,
continue
then
assaulting
maybe that
her,
wouldn't
so
be
he
the
lets
best
her go.
idea.
When
But
she leaves the building, John is
usually I
freaking out,
cook
of course
everything
he
at
is.
350.
And Hester, who doesn't
I guess
really
other
think
than
that
these
anything
specific
wrong has
cookies, but I
happened,
usually
is
cook
still
everything at
maintaining this
350.
illusion of being in control the whole time, is like, what? Like, aren't you happy? I got us out of trouble.
But people don't know this
She
about
says
wax
it's
paper.
just
If you
sex,
take
don't
wax
be
paper
which
and
does not
like you
calm her
have
down
to
at all. She
people don't know
realizes
how to
here
use
that John
parchment
cares
paper
about
or
her,
wax
and that she
paper.
somehow
For
got
both
lucky
of them,
enough
you
that
have to
the
take
random man
it
that she picked up on the
and
side of the road
crumple
was
it
what she calls
up.
an ethical genius,
Crumple.
which she defines
Crumple,
as someone
crumple.
who cares not just about
Unfold,
the state of her
crumple
physical
again.
body, but
Get
of
it as
her
crumbly
soul,
as
while
possible.
being aware
Warm it
that
up with
she
your
doesn't have the
hands.
capacity to
You
reciprocate
have to warm
that.
it up.
That night, the two of them
Okay?
can't find anywhere to stay because
And then
they
it
are
works
once again in the middle of nowhere,
like
so they end up needing
tinfoil.
to pull over and sleep
And
in
it's
the car.
fantastic.
And almost like a child,
And I
like
love
someone
it.
vulnerable, Hester keeps
It's
saying,
great.
John, I can't sleep. So he tells her a story about when he was 7 and he got lost in the woods for
So,
4 days. When Hester hears this, her
if you
first
use
thought
either,
is abuse
you
or
have
neglect,
to-
but John's like, no, they were looking for me. They
Yeah,
just
okay,
accidentally
no,
left me
I'm
at the
literally about to
campsite.
change
That
your
happens
life
when
if you
have
haven't
7
tried doing
children.
that.
He talks about
You
being
have
in the woods
to-
and running into this wolf who stopped dead in its tracks.
You have
and
to
just stared
warm
at
it
him,
up with your
how he
hands
had
and
this, like,
crumple it a
insane
bunch.
spiritual experience while he stood
And
there
then
staring at the wolf,
spread it back
feeling
out,
no
and it's
fear.
gonna.
He
It,
felt
you can
there
like
that
fold
the
it around
land
the edges,
wasn't
and
just
it'll
his
hold
to
its
be lost
place.
in, that there was some larger ancient intelligence
great.
and soul that had nothing to do with him or even people at all. And then the wolf just walked away. And when John was finally found, he tried to tell his mom about what he saw, but she didn't believe him. She told him that there were no wolves in Georgia, that he had maybe ate some bad berries and hallucinated it, or
No,
maybe it was a
Gene,
sign
you
from
can't
God,
crumple the
or it was a
tinfoil.
coyote. And that was what made him
That
first
one you
take
don't
his dad's
crumple.
camera
You
into
want
woods
the
to try to
reflective
prove it.
side
When his
to
story
be
finishes,
facing
he asks
whatever you
Hester
want
if
to,
she
like,
believes
get
that it was a wolf and
cooked
not a coyote
well.
or a dream, and she says yes. And that's where I'm at. We have like 50 or 60 more pages to go. I'm still really liking this story so far.
Yes,
and
Hawaiian, you're
will
supposed
make
to keep
or
it
break
shiny and
which
mirror like
is
that's
scary,
how it
especially
works
because I am
well.
putting so much thought and energy into this.
That's
very
how it
character-focused
works.
book. Like I've
You
just been
want so if
thinking
you're cooking
about Hester
something
and John,
and you
who
want
she
the
is, and how
bottom
she's
to
talked
get
this
like
story
nice
in,
and
like,
crispy,
nature versus
shiny
nurture,
side
and creating
facing
a self
up,
for a few
and put the
days
food
now,
on
and
the
I feel
shiny
very
side.
wrapped up in this.
If
And
you're
I'm afraid of the
covering
potential that it
something
has
with it,
to
shiny
greatly
side
disappoint me
out,
as a book that has
so
set
that
itself up
the thing
to be
inside
all
is
about
getting
the
most
final act. A book that is about an
heat.
inevitable end. At first, I was
Okay.
thinking that we were going to slowly uncover whatever abuse she suffered at the hands of her dad
Yes.
that involved like the police taking him
Yes.
away and
Okay.
court-mandated therapy and all of these big consequences. But now I'm starting to think the actual
I usually
details of
replace the
abuse
parchment
matter
paper
a
after
lot
like
less than
one
the
or two
effect that it's
uses.
had on
It
her. And it's kind of
just
making me rethink the
there will be
almost
residue
voyeuristic
even
curiosity that I had
after
at the
like
beginning. Like,
the
Ooh,
first
what's this big
go.
secret?
And like after the first
really,
go, it's like
she
a
was
decent,
abused. I don't think
you
we
can
really need to
still
know more
put
than
stuff
that.
on
The
it again,
gravity
but
of that
after
abuse
the
has been
second
made
time,
pretty
it
clear
starts
in the
like
adjacent details we've
getting,
been
you
given, with
get
him,
stuck
like,
to the
running away
previous
from her
one,
at
so
a full
I
sprint as
just
an adult
keep it
man.
at 2.
I'm continuing to feel really excited about
If I even
learning where
reuse
this is
it,
going to go and
it
what the
depends.
completion of
Sometimes
Hester's character arc
whatever
will
I've
look
cooked
like,
is too
and
fucking
I'm pumped
messy,
to
you
go
just can't
finish
reuse
and then get
it.
back to you with my final thoughts. I'll see you then.
Honestly,
All right,
people
we're done with
always
that
say
nature.
that
Let's get
cooking
into
is an
it.
art
Now,
and
a
baking
little
is a
closer to each
science,
other,
but I would
still
argue
never
both
veering
are
into
an
anything
art
even remotely
and a
resembling
science,
romantic
but
relationship,
mainly
which
an
I
art.
greatly appreciate.
The ancestors
John and
lead
Hester
me,
continue their
even when I'm
pilgrimage
baking
west,
cookies.
heading to the Trinity
These
nuclear
recipes
site
are a
in New Mexico.
suggestion.
Here, there's like an obelisk and
You don't
nothing
have to be
else
exact.
mark
I
the
am
plan to
literally never
deliberate
exact on
devastation that
these.
took place and continues to
All
take
of the
place here.
seasoning
Here at
measurements,
Trinity especially, we're
I
seeing
pulled
the
out of my
end
ass.
of a shift
Okay,
that's
it's a
been taking
complete
place
guess.
over the
It's
course of the
around
book
that,
in the way that
maybe
Hester
something. I don't
describes the
measure
places that
shit
John
when I
goes.
cook.
She's far more acutely aware of and angered
Like,
by the injustice of it all. Something that we see more
I never measure
narrates these
anything.
places than in any sudden change in her behaviors. By the time they get to Arizona, really just a state away from her father, she's sleeping so little that she ends up crashing their car into a ditch in the middle of the desert. They're
Oh.
okay, they're a little banged up, the airbags have gone off and into her cancerous chest, and it hurts so bad that she's really nauseous, but she doesn't feel like she needs to go to the hospital urgently. They are afraid, however, of being in the middle of nowhere in the desert with very little water and no charged phone. But then a man with a tractor appears at the top of the hill. He disappears for a few minutes and then he comes back with a bunch more men and a hitch, and he pulls them out and he takes them to his farm. Hester is handed off to a young woman, Arlo, who turns out to be the man named Mr. Black's daughter. Arlo takes Hester to a building with a bunch of cots laid out in a line, and Hester is like, this seems like it might be a cult, but she's hurting and she's tired and she might have hit her head in the crash, so she curls up on one of the cots and she sleeps. You're definitely a little skeeved out with how quickly they split her and John up, but when she wakes up, she finds him easily, and John is enchanted by this place. It's a self-sustaining community of religious people. Like, sure, it's definitely some sort of cult, but it doesn't seem like human sacrificey from where Hester is standing, at least. It actually seems like pretty clearly the kind of place where John would and should end up, where he could be very happy and fulfilled and have some of his, like, personal climate anxiety alleviated. I mean, he fits in perfectly immediately. Hester, as we know her, is far more cynical, and she's joking about how they're going to be caught in the crossfire when these Branch Davidians end up in a standoff with local law enforcement. She doesn't buy into their whole shtick. You have to be a certain kind of person
Like here,
to go
where I'm
along
like,
with the cult
scoop,
stuff, and Hester, as we know by now, is not that person.
tablespoon
So she's really pushing John to get out
size.
of there
I
as
don't
soon
measure
as
that.
possible. Not that she thinks
Stop.
anything bad is going to happen. She just thinks it's like
Like,
kind of
yeah, maybe it's a
annoying and,
tablespoon.
like, cringy. One night she's
Maybe
in the
it's
women's
larger.
dormitory
I
and
don't
she hears
know.
someone sneaking
It's
out. And so
something.
she sits up and she looks out
It's
the window
around
to
that.
see that John and Arlo are meeting up and like frolicking away together. That same night, with no memory of doing so, Hester also sneaks off into the darkness, and she strips down naked and she buries herself in the earth like it might cure her. What she does remember is waking up to all of the women in the commune working together silently to pick her up, carry her to a basin, and clean her with their disembodied hands. When she wakes up in the morning, clean and clothed and rested in her cot, she thinks it was all a dream, and then she sees the dirt under her nails. Hester then has another memory, this time of the last night that her father was in her home. It was her birthday, and after they had cake, him and her mom were fighting, and he was holding her mom up against the wall while she begged him not to do whatever he was going to do next in front of Hester. Usually she would have run outside at the first hint of tension and not been direct witness to his abuse, but this time she was there, and she thought of his BB gun. So she'd been told that they're not like real guns, they don't usually kill people, but sometimes they do. So she ran upstairs and she grabbed it, and she came back down to shoot him with it. She got him in the chest, and of course it didn't kill him, but this is her first time that she can really remember having the intention but not the means to do it. He ran after her and she sprinted outside, and this is that scene of him that we got earlier in the book, chasing her through the woods. He did catch up to her and he threw her on the ground, and they laid there panting for a long time before he lightly smacked her and said, "We'll have to work on your aim." And she was ashamed at her pride in his use of we, in the almost admiration in his voice. She says that she was never able to fully hate him as much as she willed herself to when she was a child. The two of them walked back hand in hand, and when they got to the house, the police were there, and they took him away really without a fight, and that was kind of it. Obviously, her mom was terrified at what he might do to her when they were both out of her sight. So we do actually end up getting some of the pieces put together with Hester and her dad's story. Obviously, a lot of the trouble takes place off-page.
Look how simple this recipe is.
About, but yet again, this book is
this is the easiest fucking recipe. It's literally, you just
but it's doling out enough
alter the cake mix recipe, just eggs and butter,
which kind of mirrors how traumatic
mix that together,
function in your brain.
Roll it in powdered sugar, bake that really quick, melt white chocolate, and then drizzle white chocolate over.
Back with adult Hester, her presence on the compound has changed.
Boom.
During the days
easy
before
as
the
fuck.
incident in the
yeah,
river,
exactly.
there
The
were a lot
box
of
cake,
passive-aggressive
and you can do this with
Hester's
any
way
flavor of box cake. By the way, you can make cookies out of any flavor of box cake doing this exact same recipe.
She didn't want to be a part of it. But in the days
any
following
flavor
this,
of
they
crinkle
let her
cookie.
be the sick person that she is, and she lets herself act like the sick person that she is, sleeping and lying.
Oh my
in bed
god, yeah,
all
dude,
day
watching the
every day.
bear
She
made me
started
want
think
to
that she
work
might
in a
have
kitchen
even less
again.
time left than her oncologist told.
It's a
Once John has
problem.
finished fixing up her car,
I am
they
an
head out.
addict.
Hester knows that John should stay here, that he wants to stay here, that this is so
It's a
clearly
toxic
the right place
relationship,
for him
but I
and where he would be the
love
happiest.
working in
But she doesn't fight him
restaurants,
when
and
he gets in the
it's
car,
a
telling her that
problem.
they
It
have
made me
more
want to
places
so bad.
even though he
I was
seems
like,
exhausted and regretful.
I could get a
and you
side
know
job.
that he's really only
I don't
doing
need
it
a side
for
job.
her.
I don't
he
have
even has
time.
his little mournful goodbye with
Quarter!
Carlo, but he goes with her, and they make it through
Like the way that I
At one
still
point,
do
she
that
calls her oncologist from a
constantly.
payphone. She has called him a couple
It's
of
so
times throughout
handy.
this story. Usually it's triggered
And then
by
other people haven't
something,
worked in
some
restaurants, they
big
don't know what I'm
emotional
talking
moment
about,
she
and then
doesn't
they're
want
like,
to deal
what?
with.
Why are
Though
you
it's
saying
not always
corner?
clear exactly what. She does hate this dude. The first call was after she met with Caleb, and she left him this very long, rambling, like borderline seeming like psychosis voicemail, where she called him every name under the sun and like threatened him endlessly.
Lol.
This time she calls him and she
Yeah.
starts talking to him about one of the places her and
Make
John
you a little
visited, where
gloss.
the indigenous people in the area
the
didn't know
mask.
that the government had
Little
been milling
bear.
zinc and lead in the river that they picnicked at, and they had been picnicking at this place that was filled with lead and poisoning them. He tells her, like, he's not following.
Anyway.
Is she trying
Alright,
to say that
let's make
environmental
some
factors made her
bigger-
sick? And she says, do you think I'd be like this if the world didn't make it so easy? Like, was I always going to be like this? And then he says to her, Hester, I need you to do something very simple. I need you to hang up the phone and I need you to call 911. Can you do that for me? Having been in her head and been privy to thoughts very similar to what she's expressing to him, and also being so close to her spiral this whole time, you can't see where she's ended up in the same way that he, so far removed, can. You're like, what do you mean 911, dude? Like, this is just Hester being Hester. You have watched her decay so closely, it's almost looked like growth. But the oncologist sees her as someone who is acutely not okay, and probably thinks that she's having some dangerous neurological symptoms from her untreated terminal cancer. Of course, Hester tells him, like, yeah, I'm gonna call, I'm putting it in right now, but she doesn't. And it's interesting to be pulled out of
see if
being
I
in
can
this
find
spiral
something that looks
alongside
like
her and to
this.
look at it from the outsider's perspective. He isn't quite
Bitch.
right, though. Hester is coherent and logical enough to continue on her way. I want to say, like, she isn't yet a danger to herself or others in the way he seems to think, but I mean, like, we know that's not the truth. That not being the truth is pretty central to this whole fucking thing. The last city that John and Hester visit is Las Vegas. In Las Vegas, Hester gets herself all dolled up. She does all of the maintenance that she's been
Okay,
neglecting
hold
on being on
on.
the road. Appointment after appointment of her
create
perfecting
one?
her physical appearance
Wait, there's
before she
just
comes
a
face to
crinkle
face with her
cookie right
father.
there.
Her and John at one point are walking down the street when they see two angry protesters with their, like, I love Jesus shirts yelling at cars and shit. And she asks him if that was the kind of preacher that his dad was. And he tells her that,
Can't
yeah,
believe I
like when his dad
fucking
was
found
younger,
one.
he was kind of like that. But he went to prison and he's different now. She wants the story, of course, and she offers up her dad's story in exchange for John's billing. After a bit of pestering, he does relent. He tells Hester that he didn't tell her the whole story of him getting lost in the woods, that there was a man, and he thought the man was there to save him, but he wasn't, and they ended up finding him
Whatever,
in the
that
man's
fucking
cabin.
works.
And then later, John's dad found this
Looks
man
like
and
Planet
shot him
Earth. It
dead.
also
He
looks
went
like a
to prison
crinkle
for a
cookie if you
long
think
time
about it
because
like that.
He's
and
only
perfect.
out now because
It
he's
works.
sick and old. Hester, a little jealously, tells John that his father is a righteous man, but John strongly disagrees with her. He tells her that it was a waste and that he never should have done it. He doesn't expand on this when Hester asks him to, but I would think it's part his religious beliefs about, like, crimes against creation, and a larger part that this act, regardless of its righteousness, took his father away from him. She then asks him if he forgives the man in the woods, and he says yes, and she asks why, and he quotes, "Nothing human is alien to me." And then she asks him if he forgives his father, and he says it took longer because he was closer, but yes. I don't know that I have all that much to add on to this. I just thought that like the word choice and delivery and sentiment of it
was a
very
pineapple.
touching and sad.
Yes, it was
I
a
think this is one
pineapple.
of my
I
favorite
found the
parts
pineapple
of the
specifically
story,
for
and
you.
also one of the hardest parts of the story and one of the most complex parts of the story. Hester, still and always Hester, doesn't really reciprocate with the story she promised without being pushed to. She tells John that her dad hurt her mom, and he asks her why then she's going to see him.
Holiday
and she takes a long
book
time
trauma.
before she says it's a reckoning. And John intuits what this means pretty easily, and he tries his best to talk her out of it, but she doesn't care. Instead, she says, I want to gamble. And John, the anti-consumerist final boss, says, of course. He doesn't partake, it doesn't go that far, but he comes with her as she gets absolutely plastered and gambles the night away. John is a little disappointed in her because they were meant to head to some lithium mines. He had some plan with the lithium mines in the morning, and she's clearly going to be too hungover to do that now. When she's too sloppy to stand up, he cuts her off and he takes her upstairs to their hotel room where the light of the TV on the dark walls of the room sends her into a dream about her mother's death, where in her last moments, her mom is asking Hester to collect so many apples to be happy for her. But she's doing it with like a frightening intensity, like a painful
I just thought the apple was cute and Christmas
Hester wakes up from the dream before dawn, and she leaves John in the room. She has gone from the most messy we have ever seen her to, in just a couple of hours, extremely calculated and clear-headed.
This looks good.
She finds 2 notaries to witness her wedding.
Why does that not look good?
And then she is off, and in just a couple hours, she's at her dad's doorstep in Death Valley. Hester's panicking, and she's rethinking, and she can hardly get herself to walk up to the door, but she has also lived a life imagining this inevitable end, so there isn't really anything that she can do other than this. She knocks, and no one answers, but she knows he's home. So she goes inside. He's in the shower, she sits down on his couch, and she waits. She's like looking around at his home and the life he's made here, and how different reality is to the falseness of the life that he projects on his artist website.
Okay, that's actually lets
him walk by her without noticing,
funny.
so that he can go get dressed. And when he comes out, she says dad. And even though she has called him dad, it takes him a moment to process that his adult daughter is here standing in front of him. And he knows pretty damn well right away that she is here to kill him. He doesn't try to run, but he does try to minimize, justify, and rewrite the narrative of the abuse that he was the perpetrator of. She's dawdling a little bit, she's walking around listening to him blather on about how his new wife left him, she's pregnant. She's not flashing the gun, but she thinks that he's probably seen the outline of it tucked into her waistband. And then all of a sudden, he grabs her from behind, and they're in an all-out brawl, kicking and biting and grabbing and punching. He gets the gun from her, and it goes off. It hits the TV, but it backfires out of his hand, and it slides across the room to the door. They are both fighting for their lives. They knock into his drafting table, they spill paint all over themselves. Finally, he gets on top of her, and he starts choking her just about to death. As she's on the brink of falling unconscious, a shot is fired, and his body collapses onto hers. Something so fucking visceral and awful that she says here is that the sight of the paint and the blood mixing together isn't as sickening as the difference in their temperatures. So her dad's pregnant new ex-wife is standing in the doorway holding the gun. Her hands are shaking, but she calmly sets it down on the table, and she starts eating some strawberries, and she's like, stop staring at me. I'm pregnant, like I have a craving, sue me. She tells Hester that she knows
schedule Teddy's stream. I am feeling okay-ish right now.
Needed to figure it out all on her own. And then she starts giving her advice, saying that Hester might not be able to talk yet, that she should hold some water in her mouth, but she probably won't be able to swallow it. Super clear, again, without really getting into the details of it.
So I hadn't scheduled it yet because I wasn't
hurting the women in his life for many, many years. Hester faints, and when she wakes up, the other woman is gone. She calls the police, but it takes them a while to get there because it's all hands on deck with an explosion at a nearby lithium mine. She takes the fall for her dad's murder, but she does not end up taking herself out. She ends the book dying of cancer in a hospital bed. Obviously, it is an ending that is extremely bleak and difficult and upsetting, but it doesn't necessarily feel like it's totally all for naught. Hester has gone through this absolutely enormous amount of growth over the course of her road trip. She becomes more and more honest with us and also with herself. She understands herself better. She proves her fundamental idea that she is an unchangeable person wrong. Even just with her cynicism alone. She might not admit that she's changed in that regard, but you can see it in the way that she describes things to you
hot butter and
over
eggs?
the course of the book. We also learn that this story was written by her from her hospital bed in that journal that her receptionist got for her at the start. the one that she
Okay,
turned her nose up at the possibility of reflection. Hester maintains her
I
unlikable
made a new
personality
thumbnail.
throughout the story, but this is a testament to that ancient philosophy. Nothing human is alien to me. You cannot help yourself but connect to her on some level, to feel for her, to want the best for her. Even though she can be absolutely grating and exhausting and selfish and nihilistic, and like I've said before, like, she doesn't come around on those things. This
Hi,
isn't a
puppy.
beautiful, tender story of Hester
you doing?
creating connections that bring her isolated self back down to earth and into humanity's arms. I love a story with very strong characterization that's able to show the characters growing without sacrificing who they are, and I think it's a really difficult thing to accomplish that Bad Nature does very well. I thought both of the major characters had really well fleshed out personalities and histories and worldviews. They both felt very real to me, and I liked that I could both anticipate their reactions to things and still be surprised by them.
haven't even
They never
thought
felt
about
stale,
food.
despite how intensely character-focused and long of a novel this
Teddy
was.
has a
Every character
scheduled
was a
stream.
little
Let me
eccentric without ever feeling like
fix
it's
mine
just
so
a
it
carousel of
redirects.
caricatures. The end is depressing and bleak, but it's real. You get this very vivid sense of that emptiness that follows in the wake of a revenge that someone has been waiting for their whole life to carry out. Her dad is dead, and he needed to be, and I'm glad he is. And I think I feel a modicum of the
What's
emptiness
the,
that Hester feels.
I forget
at
what
the
it's
same
called.
time
But
as
it's,
being
is it
glad
Greek?
about it. Kind
It
of
might be
like
Greek.
That's it? Or like,
When it's
now
the
what?
phyllo
You know?
dough
It manages
with
to
the
be a
spinach
mirror of the character's emotions
inside
rather than
with
a
the, like,
fault
the
of
spinach
book's
cream
execution. I don't feel
inside phyllo dough.
unsatisfied. I feel what Hester
What is- I forget
I
what
think
that's
all of
called.
the parallels that you can draw with Hester's cancer and her dad's impact on her and pollution,
Spanakopita,
and forever
thank you.
chemicals, and things
Thank
that
you,
impact and
yes.
then colonize that
My
impacted
fiance
thing,
made us that
like
the other day.
abuse,
It's
like
really
cancer,
fucking
like
good.
pollution, are all very interesting
Is it
and never
Italian?
feel super contrived.
Yeah.
This book isn't
Same
always
thing.
subtle, but it does trust its reader with subtlety. Like I've said, a lot of it is left for you to piece together
So
and
good,
figure
though.
out the significance of and the connections between. And that really worked with the way that I read it here, doing this little deep dive
Mediterranean?
into it. And I
Alright,
think
yeah.
there is
I
even
figured.
more that I missed.
It is
because
Greek?
This book is thematically dense without requiring you to pick up on all of the themes.
Dude,
Sometimes
where
it
is
just
it?
gestures
Is it
towards them, and
is it one
somehow
of those
manages
things
to be
like dumplings
engaging
where
and
it's from
thought-provoking,
everywhere?
whether you pick up on that every
Or
time
noodles?
or not. The writing is solid all the way through, from word choice to sentence structure to pacing to general narrative. I didn't think it was absolutely exceptional, but there wasn't much that stood out to me as bothersome.
You know what pisses me
I really
off?
liked the dialogue,
When
which
people
is something
pronounce gyro
that I
as
think is really hard
gyro.
to get right for me. Every once in a while, there's a sentence that isn't grammatically incorrect, but it's phrased in an awkward way that made me have to stop and read it
Why
over a
the
couple of times to
fuck?
parse the meaning of it, and I would have had a better time if I wasn't pulled out of the story every so often like that. Because otherwise, this does a pretty great
Good
job
chicken
of
gyro
immersing
is
you
so
in the story with this very vivid, visceral, sharp writing from this strong narrative voice. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was intelligent and insightful and dark and real and raw,
It's
and then
just-
also kind of witty and funny at times. It's one of those books where I can't really point to any reason why it isn't
It's
a
just-
5-star.
it's so funny.
but there
Anytime
was
people, like,
something missing,
are
which is
unironically
so
calling it
unhelpful
that,
to
I'm
say
like,
as a
do you
reviewer,
not-
And I apologize. It is
Do you
very
not know
good,
how to
and
say
I would
it?
recommend it. I have pretty much nothing but praise for it, but it also isn't something at this moment that I think quite
Oh
reaches
my
the
god, I
level
heard
of
someone
other
else pronounce it
5-star
even
books for
worse the other day,
know
but
what
I
mean?
can't remember
It
how the
is,
fuck
though,
they
something
pronounced
that I
it.
think I could sit with, and it has the potential
I'm
to
like,
get there over time,
I didn't even,
depending
I don't
on
even
it
know how
impacts
they
me
got
in the long term.
to that
Thank
result.
you for joining me along on this one. I'm often doing like really intense deep dives into books that are terrible, like for shits
Yeah,
and giggles.
that checks
and I had a
out.
great time doing
We
that
have
with
such
this
good
book
Euro
that I was
places
expecting to and
in
ended up really
Pikes.
liking. It is kind of
So
fun to be
good.
so immersed in something for a few days. It's
Oh
like
my god,
almost
right? How they
all-consuming.
pronounce
I
it
felt like a crazed
faux
professor
instead of
or
pho.
something like that, which is not a feeling that you can really get from
Let's go
reading
get some
a shitty popular 2000s young
pho.
adult book.
I will
Anyway,
crash out.
see you next time. Bye. And
Bagel's the correct way to pronounce that, though, okay? To piss off the New Yorkers. What the Pho is such a good restaurant, too. It's so good. They have great pho. Also, I feel like the name What the Pho is, like, if you call it What the Pho, what would that doesn't even make sense. What the Pho is a hilarious play on words. That's great. Like, what? Right? Damn, now I want some pho really bad. Actually, pho would probably heal me right now. I'm gonna have to settle for ramen. Probably have to settle for ramen. Eey. Oh yeah, Washington is flooding like crazy. We've been like on and off of like power or internet being down constantly. Yeah. Super flooded here. Mm-hmm. Ugh. No, I cannot eat anything spicy. But yeah, no, I've been like, every single day that I'm about to stream, like before stream, like the lights are like flickering and I'm like, oh, that's fantastic. That's great. Amazing. Oh, that's a good competition to have. I know, but spicy also makes me like perish on the spot. I have 0 spice tolerance. Ooh. No, it's not even that. It like wrecks my fucking like it wrecks my breathing. Anytime I eat spicy stuff, it literally just makes breathing really hard. It like activates my asthma for some reason. Like it's like, yeah, it clears your sinuses, I guess, but like it creates what's happening for me right now if I'm completely healthy is what happens. Like it does not, I literally just get sick. I get like nauseous. It's not good. Yeah. Like it's literally like I feel it in my ears and I feel like I have to throw up. Like that is what happens if I eat spicy food. I can't eat spicy food. I can eat like mild salsa levels of spicy food. That's like as much as I do. Anything more than that, okay, well not like mild, but like salsa. Salsa is as spicy as we're getting. Like I can't do it. Like there's some foods that I really fucking enjoy, but every once in a while they'll like make them and they're like way too fucking spicy and I die and I can't. Like that happens with the fucking spicy potato tacos from Taco Bell, which is why I just end up making it myself half the time, because they'll like add way too much spice and then I literally can't eat it and it sucks because I actually can't. I can't do it. Ugh. And I'm okay with that. People constantly try to shame me for not eating spicy food, but I'm okay with not wanting to perish on the spot. And I'll survive with people being upset that I don't eat spicy food. I don't get why people always get so upset when I don't eat a specific food. Like if I don't drink alcohol, people get really fucking offended. If I don't want to eat spicy food, people get really fucking offended. If I don't want to eat any specific type of meat, people get so fucking offended. Like, why do you care? It's so weird. I don't get why. Ugh. But yeah. Or like I'll point out, oh, I'm allergic to this, and then they're like, are you? I'm like, yeah, yes, I will die. What? It's so weird how people, like, if you don't like the food that they like, they take it personally. Like, dude, me not liking your food doesn't mean I don't like you. And it's weird that you would emotionally jump to that And I think you need a therapist, because you're, like, mentally unwell if you're, like, that up in your feelings about someone not liking something that you like. Is everything that you like only dependent on whether other people like it? Do you have no personality on your own? You just can't like shit if other people don't like it? What the fuck? It's so weird. Which chocolate? Because I feel like chocolate has a wide variety. Interesting. Do you just not like sweet stuff, or? Huh. Like, certain brands definitely have an aftertaste, but in general, I wouldn't say it has much of an aftertaste. Like, high quality chocolate does not have an aftertaste. Bad chocolate definitely has an aftertaste. 'Cause, yeah, like, I cannot do Hershey's. It's gross. Can't do the plasticky chocolate. Bro, what are you fucking on about right now? To be fair, a lot of people don't like the taste of coffee. Coffee is bitter and an acquired taste. It's definitely an acquired taste. Okay. I've been really wanting to watch this, but I think we'll have to save it for Teddy's stream, because I don't think we have time, because we only have 30 minutes left. So we will watch the TikTok squatter situation on Teddy's stream, and I will find something else for us to watch right now. So I'll swap the links out. But let me find. Like, I had a whole thing planned out, and then of course I run out of time to actually watch it. Come on, give me something that's 30 fucking minutes. Man, why is everything 5 minutes or way too long? Okay, let's hear about the angel tree drama. That works. Sure. Cool. Perfect. Gosh. I think I can do it. I think I can do a Teddy. Oh, key means yolk in Iceland? Wait, that's so cute. Ah! Amazing. That's good to know. That's good to know. Very interesting. We have some Queen videos to catch up on then. Alright, here.
What the hell is wrong with everyone around Christmas time now? Because it wasn't like
Okay.
this when I was a kid.
Okay, now that I'm done putting everything together.
How's the volume? Kind of
Somebody
quiet.
got my baby for the angel tree. And I remind you, I did put his age. I never asked for a fucking swing. I did ask for a bouncer, but I put the exact bouncer that I wanted, and this is the bouncer they chose to get him. I just feel like, don't be picking up no angel trees off that tree if you can't do above and beyond.
I feel like I'm torn on the
People are
angel
going
tree
on
thing.
this tree because they
On
need
one hand,
more. Not
it's a
because,
wish list, and you
this
should be able to
cheap-ass-
ask
I
for
could've
whatever
went to
you
go buy
want.
this cheap ass shit myself.
2, if you genuinely
the
cannot
Walmart
afford
brand swing, like thanks for the swing,
to
but
be
I-
like
y'all
going
could've went
outside
above
of like
and
a
beyond.
strict
Y'all
budget for
didn't
yourself,
have
you
to
really
give
should
me
not be probably
this
participating in
cheap-ass
this.
shit that y'all chose to get, like,
But
y'all be
also,
having so much
the
money doing these
expectation
angel trees.
that it's like millionaires
Oh, that's cheap
paying for all of
is it?
this.
What?
And it's super rich people,
$59.99
and therefore you can ask
swing
for
and a
iPads and a new car
bouncer?
is kind of insane as well.
$128
So
is
it's like there
cheap
should
to
be a
you?
balance somewhere.
That is just
If you're
rich.
on a tight
If they
budget,
were so
don't be
cheap, then
doing
why didn't
this
you just
probably.
buy them yourself?
But
if you
also
could have paid for it,
ask
like
for
you
things
just
that are
said,
slightly
then
reasonable.
why didn't you? Why would you waste someone
Like-
else's time, effort, and money who was just trying to help you if you didn't want cheap ass shit? That isn't even cheap. What? You just wanted to
Yeah.
get presents for free so that you didn't have to gift your kids yourself with your money?
I just got my angel tree gifts for my kids, and I'm like the most disappointed I've ever been in my life, okay? So the 4-year-old, he asked for a Nintendo Switch, okay? And they didn't get him a Nintendo Switch. They got him like a Next Playground. But like, I wanted a Nintendo Switch for the house so that we could all play with it, okay?
Because see,
And
that's
then
insane.
my
That's an
11-year-old
insane
asked for
thing
a
to
bike.
do.
And they got him a bike. But
Wishing for it, putting it on your
it's
list,
like not
totally
that
fine.
nice. It looks like they just got one of the
Expecting
cheaper bikes
it?
from the store.
No.
And then for my 2-year-old, I asked for like little Tykes toys and stuff, and
Do you want
they
me to
got
turn it
an
down?
off-brand.
I can turn it
First
down.
off, which like it's
It was
English,
quiet
what do you call
before.
off-brand? I don't. I'm like disappointed. I kind of like want to return everything.
Oh my fucking god.
You didn't want to spend $200 on gifts
I cannot
for your
win with
kids.
you fucking
just
people.
wanted other people to. They did go above and beyond by fulfilling
Literally
not
just asked me to
one
turn it
gift
up.
request, but both gift requests. You should be grateful because nobody was obligated to do this for you and could have just used that money instead to buy gifts for
no,
themselves
still 24.
or for their families. But they chose to help you. Why can't you be thankful no matter what brand was bought? Oh my god. Publicly bashing people who were just trying to be kind and expecting absolutely nothing in return is kind of disgusting. We also got Christmas wish lists from kids these days being created on their phones and just
The thing
having
is,
the
it's a
link copied
wish
and
list.
pasted
They're
and
allowed
sent
to
their
put whatever they
parents
want
over
on their
text
wish
message,
list.
and
It's
my
the
heart just
entitlement
breaks when
of
I watch
expecting
this
it to
because
be
kids are
everything
just
on that wish
rapidly
list is
losing
what you're
touch with
receiving
what made
is the
Christmas
problem.
so magical to begin
There is
with.
nothing
Because
wrong with a
instead of
child
either grabbing
wishing
a piece
for
of paper
whatever
and
they
writing
want.
down what you
That's
want by
fine.
hand
They
so
think that
your
this is
parent
a
can
wish to
go the
Santa,
post office
okay?
in the morning
So I
and
need
send it
people to
Santa,
humble themselves
or
and
opening
remember
up
that this is
catalog from the
a
local
child
department store with
wishing
a marker
to
in
Santa.
your hand and
You don't have to
circling
actually
every
do
toy
it,
you want in
but
the
remember,
pages.
that's
That
what it
doesn't
is.
exist
Don't get
anymore.
mad at them
Gen
for
Alpha
wishing for
doesn't
shit.
believe
Like, that's
in Santa.
insane.
So they know their letter isn't being sent to Santa Claus or isn't being sent to the North Pole. And they barely want to read or write because they have their phones to do that for them. So why would they go through that effort of doing either of those things, writing a wish list or circling
Like, it's a
catalogs,
child.
when could
They
just
don't have
scroll
any
on
concept of
Safari for
money
30
or
minutes
the
and
value of
compile a
things.
list
That's
of
why you
links?
teach it
It's
to them.
depressing.
Okay, honey, that's a really expensive item that you want. I just want you to be aware that that takes X amount of hours for working. Santa is not getting you that. That's not a gift that Santa makes. That's a gift that I have to buy at the store. You can explain it to them in ways that doesn't break the fucking illusion, but like, It's ridiculous.
Whether to laugh or cry,
Exactly,
so
Jean.
I'm
You just try
sharing
to,
with you guys my
you do
two
your
sisters.
best,
My
and if you're
9-year-old
strapped for
and
cash, you shouldn't be doing it because you're already strapped. Therefore, you shouldn't be going out of your way to leave it for the people that have the extra money. There is plenty of them. They're not all millionaires, though. They're not going to be spending $500 on each of the fucking things. That's also insane. It'll be a reasonable amount. Like,
So for my 9-year-old to be asking for a cell phone
congratulations.
at 9,
Some kids
that's
don't know
the
that, though.
newest iPhone,
So,
I don't know, maybe Santa will get it. A lavender iPad case.
you
Then
gotta,
we
you
have
got it.
2-inch hoop
There's no
earrings.
reason to not keep the fantasy
Really
alive for them.
big hoop. I don't think she realizes that.
You're on
But-
episode 1 of Who the Fuck Does My Daughter Think That I Am? I'm going to be reading her work in progress.
Well, I don't know,
rough
bitch.
draft
Who did you
Christmas
lead
list.
her to think
And
that
just
you
for
are?
context,
You
she's
need
10
to
years
be
old.
upfront
Road
with your
Pocket
children.
Blush, Shade Piggy, Road
Like,
Peptide
there's-
Lip Treatment, Jade Ribbon, Tower 28
I made
Brow
plenty of wish
Mascara.
lists as a kid. I wasn't
Sincerely
expecting
yours,
to get all the
Kim
items because I knew
Kerastase
I only
8-hour
got a few
magic
things
serum,
off of them because my
Summer
parents set
Fridays,
expectations
Jet
for
Black
that.
Max.
When I was a kid, I wanted a Build-A-Bear,
Like
or
what?
a bike, or a Polaroid camera, or merchandise
Like,
of my favorite musicians.
part of it is
or a
the parents
skateboard, or a
not
La La Loopsy doll, or a brand
really
new
paying
pair
attention to what their
of
kids are
cherry
interested in,
red
and then be like,
Converse
oh my god, why do they
sneakers,
want like
or a
$10,000
brand new game
makeup?
for me.
I don't know, maybe because you let them have
Gucci and
fucking
Chanel
free reign on
bags as a
TikTok,
3-year-old.
and they
I
saw what
didn't
adults are
want
doing.
An iPhone that wasn't necessary
And they don't
for my
understand how money
age
works.
As a 9-year-old, I
Like-
didn't want expensive
Dude.
skincare that I didn't know
Like,
how
I
to
had
use
like a
correctly
fucking
and
bunny
didn't
on my
need for
wish list. You know what I
age
got? A
as
stuffed
10-year-old.
bunny.
Like, because
I was
this
perfectly
new
happy with
generation
it.
of kids
Like-
don't believe in Santa. There is no
It'll be okay.
wonder or fun or joy to their gifts.
And then every
that
once in a while,
embraces
a
their
millionaire will come
childhood.
along
They
and
just
they
want
will
the makeup.
actually
They
get
just
that
want
kid
the
a bunny.
skincare. They just want the
And that would be
clothes.
awesome. But
And
like,
it
that
seems
shouldn't
like
be the
Christmas
expectation.
is the time of year
Just
when
like you
people
also shouldn't
decide
be
to
like getting
experiment
the
the
bare
most with
fucking
DIY
minimum
crafting
and like
their
the worst
decorations,
version of
when
everything if you are
sometimes
choosing to
just
do it.
might not be the best
You should also be
option
putting an
because
effort if
why
you're
on
choosing to do the
God's
imagery.
earth would I
It's a
put
choice.
strands
No
of
one
hot
forced you to
glue
fucking
from
do
a
it.
hot glue gun
Like,
on my
it's
Christmas tree?
quite
And
literally
why is that
optional
the
and it's
only
charity.
thing
So
on
just
there?
like if you want to do it, like actually
I'm gonna
put
hold
effort
your hand
in.
when I say this. This does not look like crystals,
Like-
babe. Actually, I would say it looks the furthest thing from it. Are we?
No,
are we
I
all
already
thinking
had a
the same
chicken.
thing right now. I know we are. I know we are. I don't even want to say. Because y'all know, it's not only incredibly disturbing to put this on your tree, because people are going to walk in your house, look at your tree and go, whoa, what was the theme for this? But it's also just incredibly boring
never
to
remember
look
the
at.
fucking
There's no
thing now.
colors, there's no sparkles, there's no lights. Can you imagine having to take your family Christmas photos in front of this tree? Or opening up presents under this tree with your family? Or eat Christmas dinner or Christmas lunch near this tree? Can you imagine that? Like, there's
The
no
fuck,
sparkling
Jean?
lights,
That sucks.
twinkling tinsel, colourful baubles, festive ornaments, or sentimental handmade decorations that your kids made for you when they were younger at school around Christmas time that you've never been able to get rid of because of the attachment you have to them. It's just plastic grey strings. And what about that screams Christmas to you? This screams Christmas. And here we go again. What about this is Christmassy to you? Why the hell has everyone forgotten how to decorate for Christmas? Since when did we start?
How
thinking it
dare
was
someone
beautiful
use
to
a
start
color
putting
palette that
bright,
you
crappy
dislike
hot
for their
blue
own
strings
Christmas
and
tree? I don't
beige,
fucking care.
neutral-toned bed
I
sheets the size
genuinely
of a
don't give a
king
shit.
bed thrown over the tree like it's dirty
Sometimes
laundry in
people
the
have
corner of your
taste that is
room?
different
This
than
looks like
yours, and you're
something
gonna
that the
survive.
Kardashians would
You're gonna
in
be
their
okay
house
if
for
people have a
Christmas.
different
Like, this
taste
would
than
be
you
in
do.
Kim Kardashian's
Some
house
people like
on
boring
Kim
things.
Kardashian's
Some
Instagram
people like
story.
things
Am I
that are all
wrong?
white.
No,
You're
I
gonna
don't mean that
survive.
as a
Not everyone
compliment.
likes
I'm
things
not
looking
saying
ugly
that
as
we need
shit.
to stick to
It's okay.
one aesthetic
It's gonna
and
be
one
fine.
aesthetic
Like,
only,
I don't get why
even though that
everyone's
would
like,
be
oh my god,
fantastic,
how
literally. But
dare
this tree
parents
looks
have a
like
beige
it just
house? Like,
rolled
maybe
out
they
there
like it.
and rushed downstairs. Like, it
It's
was
not
late
like they
for its
have
shift
banned
of
colors from the
standing
world
in the
and forced their
morning
kids to be
and didn't have enough
colorblind.
time to untangle
You're gonna
itself from
survive.
covers.
Like,
We can be a little bit more festive instead of trying to be Kim
how about
Kardashian,
there's already a
huh?
fucking
And
tree
speaking of
and it
what
is
about
festive?
Christmas Christmas to you, just take a look at the bleaker bullshit they have available in Walmart and Michael's to buy for your Christmas
I'm sorry that you don't have
decorations.
taste
Like,
and you
I'll tell
can't
you right now,
understand
if I
that
take the
things
word
can be Christmas without
away from
it
these
being red
videos
and
showing
green,
this decor
but
off,
like
you
you'll
quite
survive.
literally never guess that these
You
were
will
Christmas
survive.
decorations, and then they just simply be available for you to buy all year round instead of
I hate people
embracing
that
the
constantly
traditional
complain
Christmas
about
aesthetic.
overconsumption,
Come
and
on,
then
beginning
the
of the
overconsumption
season.
in
And
question
you wanna
is just
know
people
what
like
truly
that are
makes me
rich
feel
and decorating.
endlessly hopeless about this? The
You're
fact
just
that there is not a
jealous.
single
You're
soul
just
buying
jealous
this.
that
And if they
people
are,
have the
it's
ability
most
to do that. They have
certainly
the free
not being
time
passed
and the
down
money to
their
do it,
future children
and they can
for
decorate
them
things
to
how they want
reuse on
to for their
their
personal
Christmas
taste.
trees
I'm
in
so
20
sorry that you
years,
don't
like
have that
Christmas
luxury.
decorations
It
have
sucks,
done so for
but like,
hundreds of years.
such is
But
life.
no one
You move
in your
on.
family
You don't
wants
let
to
someone else's
inherit bow
existence
tie-shaped
and their own
pastel
personal
ornaments,
taste
or
detract
an
from
office
your own
water
existence
cooler
and personal
ornament,
taste.
or a
It is such a
scuba
pointless and
diving
immature
watermelon
way of
ornament,
looking at
or a
everything in
coral
life,
cob
and all that
ornament,
will
or a
lead
hot
is
glue
for you
gun
to be a
ornament. Like, I could keep
unhappy,
going on and
unsuccessful
on, but
person
you guys
that's
get
just
my
like
point.
triggered
Nobody
by
wants this
everyone
shit.
else
And it's
existing
not just black and
constantly,
white
and it doesn't
decoration.
help
There's
you
just
at
simply
all.
nothing in
It
the
just
Christmas
ruins
aisles
your
of
mental
department
health. You will be a
stores that
miserable
tells
person if
it's
you
Christmas,
focus all of
because
your
they
time
insist
on
on
micromanaging
creating
how other people spend their time and
decorations
money.
for
It is
ugly
not
micro trends to make as
productive,
much profit as
and
possible,
like
such as multicolor
overconsumption
bow-shaped
is a problem when it comes to like
decorations with
companies
white and pink
and
baubles
like
for
big
whatever
scale
reason.
shit.
Like, what would you do this?
Not
Where would you
individual
put
people
this?
that like to
And
collect
right beside it,
fucking
there's a transparent nutcracker with
Stanley
rainbow
cups or
glitter
whatever.
stuffed
It doesn't
inside.
matter.
Plain reindeer
It doesn't
with
matter.
white scarves.
It really
Boring
doesn't matter.
nutcrackers
You're gonna
with
be
no
okay.
other paint on them. Horribly mass-produced, pathetic
Like-
excuses of Christmas trees that look more like my hair upon waking up. A white Christmas hat? I don't even know what that is. That's how awful these decorations are. Another bow-related Christmas decoration.
It's
that's
a
terribly
pink nutcracker.
painted. Another nutcracker.
It's a pink nutcracker.
This time in a horrible shade of pink with glitter everywhere and a Santa Claus drinking a Starbucks. Because that's
You're
so
gonna
relatable,
survive.
am I right? You don't
It'll
want
be
this
okay.
now. You won't want this next Christmas, and you most definitely won't want to give these decorations to
And
your
what if
future
they
children.
do?
Nor would they want to inherit them.
And what
so
if
that's
they
why
do?
It's disgusting.
Because
what they
guess
put on
what? You know
shelves
what's
for
super
decorations
collectible
now.
and stuff?
It's cheaply
Those
made
fucking
garbage
stupid
that is
glass
produced to
McDonald's
fit
cups
trends that
that
won't
they
be
sold in
cool
like the
or
70s and
popular
80s
within
and
the
shit.
next 2 months,
You know what people
if
said
that.
about those
Or
back then?
it's
Oh my
cheaply
god,
made
stupid
garbage that has
overconsumption.
the
You're never gonna want to
lifespan
keep these. This is so
of 2
stupid.
months
Well,
and
guess
was
what?
intentionally made
Now
to
they're
be poorly
collectible.
produced, so that you're forced to come back next
It's
year
really
and
stupid.
buy even more from them. Companies
Like-
don't care about giving us quality Christmas decorations anymore.
Yeah.
They care about profit.
The ones that
they
are
won't
like,
forget, because everyone
like
thinks this stuff is
the
gross,
radioactive
but
glass
they're
are
just
even
desperate.
more collectible.
I want to sit back and relax
So
and enjoy
like,
my life. When all of a sudden I hear this agitating, grating voice.
Your family's wrapping paper literally looks better. It's more vibrant, it's more colorful, it's more inviting.
It looks
it's
like
more
shit,
embracing
actually.
Of the season and the holidays.
It's not
more
cohesive,
what
looks like
Christmas
shit,
is supposed
would
to
not look good in a
like. Here's the
magazine.
thing, I'm not someone who
fine
has
for a
ever
normal
cared
family, but if
about
you're
the
trying to
wrapping
make things
paper
look
that
good,
people use
this
so that
fails
their
on like a
presents
basic
mix
color
with
level,
mine, and
on
they
a
look
basic
next
color
to
theory
mine,
level.
and so that
Like
they
sure,
match
if you
with
don't
mine.
care about
Because
anything being
Christmas
cohesive, sure,
is
use whatever
supposed
fuck ass
to
wrapping
be a
paper you
clash
want to.
of colours and
But
patterns.
personally,
It's
I will not be
supposed
using
to
fucking
be
blue wrapping
aesthetic.
paper
I
if
want
that
to
doesn't
look
fit my
under my
theme.
tree and
I'm
see
sorry
all
that
the
you like
different
things to
kinds
be
of wrapping
ugly,
paper that my family decided
but other
to use
people
for their
have
presents.
taste,
I don't
so-
want everyone to follow one single code of wrapping and only allow them to use one single color.
I haven't
Because
seen
where is the
anyone
fun in that?
use
Why are
one
we
single
policing
color
wrapping
unless it's
paper now?
literally a
Why are we
set.
separating presents based on their
You're
wrapping
judging
paper? And look at
influencers
how
based on
awful
a
advent
set
calendars
that they
have
have.
become.
Like, she'd get mad about these as if there's
$11,000
anything
for a
inside of them.
glorified
It's a
box
set,
with
you dumb
perfume,
cunt.
paper,
Like,
Christmas decorations,
it'll be okay if some
candles,
people have actually
more
cute
glitzy
decorations.
Christmas decor, a
All of these are
big old
cute.
Star topper, as if that isn't the most brand worshipping thing that I've ever seen. More bottles of perfume. A stand for the candle.
Sorry,
I
you
think
smell
that
like
is,
shit. Like, I don't-
Then,
what's the
you
takeaway here?
guessed it, even more perfume, as if we don't already have more than enough of it. Some earrings,
People collect
a strap
perfume
of some sort,
for decades.
and a snorkel Look,
I
it's not
hate these
even fault.
overconsumption
Kids
people that are
aren't
like,
interested in
you
designer
know that
brands,
these
it
things
means nothing to
expire,
them.
right?
Teenagers
And
just
you know
want
that people
chocolate or
use
candy
them
or food
way
of
after
any
they
sort,
expire,
and
right?
adults don't have advent
Perfume
calendars.
just
And even
discolors.
if they did,
It doesn't
they're
go
not
moldy.
going to spend $12,000 on it. So again,
Oh my
I
god, are you
ask,
really sad
who
you
is
don't
this
have
for?
$12,000
Not
to
only
spend
is
on
it
frivolous
wildly
shit? Me
unnecessary
too.
to have
You'll
that
survive.
much perfume
Rich people are
inside
gonna
of
do that.
one
It's
box,
okay.
because that's more than
You'll be
someone
okay.
could even use in a lifetime. But it also ruins gifting to you for your family members.
How
Because
would that
by the
ruin
time
the
you've
gifting
opened every
experience?
single door,
What are you
it's like getting
talking
a Christmas
about?
present every
You're
single
living
day.
in a
You've
make-believe
basically just
fucking
been given
universe.
a $350 perfume daily. So how is anybody supposed to compete with that? The point
Oh
of
my
an
god, you're like
advent
not
calendar
supposed
is
to compete with
count
that. It's not a
down
fucking
the days
competition.
that you get to open your
Do you
presents.
like
Not
people
getting
and
a
want to
present
give them
every
something they
single day,
enjoy,
and
or
then
do you
getting
want
more
to
presents
complain
on the
about it
25th?
on
That
social
completely
media
defeats the
and be
entire
holier than
purpose
now
of an advent
because
calendar. And
well
basically
I
just
wrapped
Christmas
shit
itself.
ugly with
You
duct
don't
tape for
need
Christmas. That means
another
I'd care
Dior
more because I
candle to
didn't
mark
get you the
that
expensive
another
gift. I didn't
24
give a
hours
shit
is
actually. I
past.
hate
All you
Christmas.
need
Bah
is a
humbug.
$5 advent calendar
Girl,
from your local grocery store
you'll
with
survive.
a little chocolate behind
You will
every door
survive.
to bring a little cheer to your day as you anxiously await to open all your presents on the
Like,
25th.
why are you making it a competition?
Y'all
How will you get to know
agree.
people,
Y'all
care about
agree.
them, and
Something
get them
else
things
that's
that they
also
will like because you know them
destroying
well,
Christmas spirit for
and you
people is
give
just
gifts
how
because
much
you
these
know the
companies
person
are
and what they
blatantly
enjoy.
Scamming every single one of us these days because back
Like,
in
what
the
the hell?
1950s, you could get comically ginormous rolls of wrapping paper.
Like the
for
fact that you're
Christmas
thinking of
that
Christmas
looked
as a
like it would
competition
take
and you're
an
comparing
entire
yourself to what
lifetime
other
and then
people are
some
doing to celebrate the
Christmases
fucking
to finally
holiday
get rid of.
says
But
everything
it's
about
just not
you
like that
and how
nowadays.
miserably
So
you live your
it
life.
just makes you feel
What are
sad
you
and that
talking
you
about?
truly missed out on
If
the
other
height of
people are
Christmas
pretty, do you
when it
think
was
you're
still
ugly?
Just about family and giving back to your loved
What the
ones.
fuck?
Because now that companies only care about
How
maximizing
dare
their
you
profits
buy
and
something? It
making
can't
as much money
possibly
as they
be a
possibly
gift if
can
you
to leave
buy
everyone
it.
dry during the holidays. The rolls
I
of
hope
wrapping
you're
paper
hand
are
pressing
now
your
so
perfume then.
incredibly thin that you could only wrap 2
Do you
presents
buy
at
things ever?
most with the
Do you
roll
not
before
have a
you to drive
self-sustaining
back down
farm?
and get another one. And
That's
the funniest part about
overconsumption.
it, the 1950
That's actually
wrapping paper
feeding
was
into
still
microplastics. You might as well
cheaper
eat
despite getting
mulch.
50 times more out of it.
Why
You
would
used
you
to be
not
able to
just
pass
have
down
everything in your
wrapping paper
garden?
from 40 years ago
Don't you
to
know
your
there's a Labubu
grandchildren
tree?
and
You can just
still
grow
have
them.
leftover wrapping
So
paper for years
sustainable.
to come. But now your grandchildren will
Bitch.
be left with nothing.
God
including
forbid
wrapping
people
paper
save
from
up and
your
want to
time. And that is
enjoy
what
things
fills me
and
the
feel
most about
luxurious
Christmas now.
during
None of this
Christmas.
stuff can be kept
People save up
to remind
all
you
year for
of
Christmas.
when you were younger.
Like,
It's not possible anymore. Then someone uploaded
especially
a
parents who
video
are trying to
from
like have a
department
magical
store that
experience for
said,
their
"This
kids.
level of consumerism is heartbreaking. Cheap plastic breaks in mere weeks. We
That's
don't
cool.
need mountains of Christmas
Swiss Army
junk
knives
to
are a good
feel
gift.
festive."
Useful.
As she shows shelves and racks fully stocked with Christmas junk that nobody is buying, which means
Yeah,
it'll
'cause
eventually
people-
just go to waste. And look, I
People
know that
don't have money
companies
right now.
always
That
sold
doesn't-
plenty of Christmas decorations around the holiday
Do you
season.
think that
Like,
stores
that isn't
shouldn't
news.
sell
The
things
difference
because
between
people are
then
having
and
financial
now, though,
difficulties
is
right
intention.
now?
Because if we look at
What
this
the fuck
footage
kind
of
of
the Christmas
logic is that?
decoration section
That is the
in a
weirdest
department
logic
store
I've
from
ever heard.
1993, we can
Oh, well,
very
people aren't buying it. We just
easily
shouldn't
see
sell any
vast
of it.
difference in
You're
what stock
insane.
looks like
You're
and
an
the
insane
quality
person.
and longevity
Everyone's
of the
having
stock
financial
and how
difficulties. The
limited
economy is
the
in the
stock
trash.
actually was
What
on
are you
the
talking
shelves.
about?
Because back in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s
Like,
and
huh?
even the early 2000s, Christmas wasn't about following the latest micro trend or putting the latest memes like 6, 7
Dude,
on your tree.
that
or
is
creating hundreds of
everything
different
now.
colours and styles
Oh,
of
back in the
Christmas decorations
70s,
for
there
hundreds
no,
of
but you
different
didn't see
aesthetics.
anyone on their
Everyone
phones.
agreed
Everyone was
on
living in the
one
moment,
style
guys.
and
Back in
one
my day, when I wasn't even alive because I was a little baby itty bitty fetus in my dad's fucking nuts.
There were no insufferable memes.
I know how good it was back in the 70s when there was so many fucking racist and sexist people. It was so great because there was no overconsumption during Christmas.
Materials that would last generations and weren't
Bitch, shut
designed
the
to be
fuck
thrown
up.
away in a month. Because companies actually used to take pride in
Like,
that. And what's the consequences?
girl,
of
you're
this
not gonna
mass
fucking,
production? By January,
things used to be better. No, they
99.9% of
didn't.
this tacky,
No, they didn't.
cheaply
No,
made
they didn't.
trash is going
That
to
is
be
a
flooding the
fallacy,
thrift
a dumb
stores.
fucking
Because the
fallacy. How old
decorations
is
that
this
they're
girl? She
producing
has to be
nowadays
like
were
20,
made
right?
With the intention
She can't be that
it
old.
would follow specific
It's just
trends
giving
from 2025
very
that will
sheltered and no
not
life
be in style
experience.
by next Christmas. The customer would buy them and use them for 1 year to follow this specific style or this specific trend or this specific meme, and then by next
It's
Christmas,
actually
they're
okay if
forced
people
buy
want to
new
follow trends. You're gonna
decorations
survive.
because
Guess what they
bought
were
from you
doing in
last
the
year is
70s?
already
They
broken
were
or it's
also
out of
following
date
micro
in just
trends.
12
What the
months.
fuck do
Whereas
you
with
think
decorations
bell bottoms
produced
are?
In previous decades, the intention was to produce the most festive and warm and most value for your money decorations that followed
Bro.
one aesthetic and one aesthetic only, so that they could be reused 50 years into the future by your
Guess
children's
what?
children.
Rich
That's
people
just not
back
the case
then
anymore.
still
Because
did what rich
companies
people do now.
just
You
prioritize
are just a
profit
poor
over pride.
person
And
and
making
didn't
content
have
that
access
says
to seeing it
organizing
like you do
Christmas
now.
gift station for
You didn't
easy
get to see
present
into the
ideas
houses of
with
wealthy people
hundreds
back
of
then,
plastic
so you didn't
bags,
get to see
cheap
how wasteful they
baskets,
have
and
always
Stanley
fucking
cups
been.
and mass-produced
Now
mugs to put
they have
different
allowed you
variations
to see their
of
fucking
plastic
houses.
face masks,
So now you get to see how wasteful they have
lip
always
glosses,
fucking
hand
been.
sanitizers, and
They used
body
to be
scrubs,
more
and
wasteful.
It's just not the point of Christmas. The point of Christmas
The point of
isn't just buying
Christmas
something
is to
for the
not
sake of
give a
buying
fuck about the
something for someone.
decorations
The
that
point of
much.
Christmas
So if
is
someone
to
does
show
want to
your
decorate,
deep
you don't really give a
appreciation
shit.
and gratitude
Are you really
and
gonna be
love
mad
for those
at
closest
Martha
to you
May
in your life?
from the
Whether that be
Grinch
in the form
for
of
decorating her
something
house well?
handmade, or
Really?
something expensive, or something
Really?
related to their hobby,
You're the person
or their
who's mad at
interest
Martha
that
May.
you'll know they'll cherish
Fascinating.
for years to come. That is
It's
what Christmas
fascinating
is
that
all
that's
about.
the
It's
position
not
you
to
would choose
buy
to be in life.
hundreds of dollars
Like,
worth
it's-
of completely random
It's about
stocking
enjoying the
stuffers
holiday,
to make
enjoying
most
the company,
impersonal
and just
widely
enjoying the
broad
experience.
gift
Part of
just
the
to make
experience
holiday
is
gifting
creating an
easy.
atmosphere.
When Christmas,
Some people
and
like to
especially
put
presents,
that
aren't
effort
something
into
that you
creating the
just throw
atmosphere
together last
so that they
minute,
can
you know?
enjoy
It's
the holiday
overconsumption
with
for
their
the sake of
family. That's
overconsumption.
part of how
When
they
what we
enjoy the
could
holiday.
just be doing
It's okay if
instead of
people
making
enjoy a
50
holiday
different
differently than you.
baskets
Guess
is just
what?
buying
Some people
one
don't even celebrate
individual
Christmas.
gift
They're
for
doing
your
other
loved
shit.
one that you
So,
know
like,
they'll actually
oh my
use.
God.
Oh, and I can confidently say that it's not very Christmassy
It's
to
so
walk
dumb.
around doing your Christmas shopping in the middle of December and
Like,
already
guys, you aren't
start
decorating
reading
cozy
after
enough for me, therefore
putting
you're
out
doing
their
Christmas wrong.
Valentine's Day
Because I'm
decorations
personally
themselves.
invited to your
What
Christmas,
are you
therefore it needs to be catered to my
Christmas
personal
hasn't
taste.
even
How
happened
dare
yet,
you
and
do
they're
an
already trying to
unconventional
move us on to
Christmas
the next
color,
holiday
but also I really
before
want you to have
who even
blue
decorates
fucking
their
wrapping
fucking house
paper
for Valentine's
under your
Day
tree for
anyway?
some reason because it
Jesus
clashes
Christ.
with everything.
That's what I'm saying. They're pushing this
Makes
consumption
sense. Yeah,
onto us.
totally.
We need to reset this goddamn planet immediately.
Maybe reset yourself. Maybe humble yourself and realize other people get joy out of things that you might not enjoy. And it's okay for people to have conflicting needs.
Everything that I bought down in my caption. Let me know what you think.
Like, I'm getting no work done because this is just pissing me off so bad.
This viral trend after I
Like-
had finished recording, and I was.
Oh my
just
god, people are
in
putting
shock.
their trees in a
Do you
pot.
see
I'm gonna crash
why
out.
I'm slowly
Literally,
descending
who
into
cares?
insanity?
Who
I'm justified
cares?
in this because you're telling me that the viral trend of the season, the viral holiday decor of the season, isn't lights, isn't a Grinch-themed Christmas tree, isn't garland.
Why the fuck would it be a
TJ Maxx on your
Grinch-themed
blinds? None of that.
Christmas tree? Are you on
No,
crack?
It's a simple
Do you live in
country
2008?
in
What
a
are you
beige
talking
pot
about?
with a dark brown bar.
Yeah, it's Christmas colored.
The viral
Brown is a Christmas
trend
color.
of the season.
It's winter.
Isn't a gingerbread man cushion or peppermint themed candy pillows. It isn't.
Anyway. Yeah, 2008 was not a great year. Not a good year for taste. I can't stand people that are like prideful in sucking the joy out of things that are harmless. Yeah. Not good people to surround yourself with. Not good people, not healthy, not mentally healthy to be around people like that. Yeah. Ah, yes, okay. Let me finish writing this down and then we will go. Just peeled also. Half. Teaspoons. Lemon juice. Third cup of sugar. 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Fourth teaspoon salt. A fourth of a teaspoon of nutmeg. Oops. Soul, you're fine, honey. Okay. Allspice. And what am I thinking of? Cloves. Oh my god. 1 tablespoon of corn starch. Just 4 pie crusts, you can buy them. Oh yeah, I always put allspice in my pie. That's my go-to mix. I need cloves, allspice, nutmeg, and cinnamon in my apple and pumpkin. Good luck saving for a PC right now. Oh my god. Nightmare. 'Cause fucking AI. Let me see if I can find a pie that looks enough like a cookie. There. That's good enough. Should I put an apple next to it? Ah. So you like make them into like little mini pies, essentially. I think I'll probably make it so these are covering each other. Maybe. I don't know. Oops. Yeah, that works. And then another one for behind the apple. Nice. Perfect. Apple. Ta-da. And then I'll make the rest of it later. Yay. Yeah, it has like a little, it's basically just like a flat piece of pie. You put the filling in and then you lattice over it and then just like push down. It's like a miniature pie, essentially. It's essentially just a mini pie. It's way easier though. Yeah. Okay. Well, I gotta go set up for Teddy's stream, so. Oh, fuck, I have my nose again. So I will leave you guys. I'll swap over everything really fast and then I'll see you guys at 2 o'clock. Oh no. You've never seen this type of pie, apple pie? Or a lattice pie? It's like pretty standard pie crust, I feel like. Yeah, too soon to tell for Twitch. I think probably Twitch, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how I'll hold up after Teddy. Teddy's the one that'll really test me. This was like okay-ish. My nose really hurts now though, so I'm gonna go put chapstick on it, but an apple pie looks different? I don't... Layers? I'm so confused. Are you talking about the lattice? So a streusel is not a pie. It's not a pie. That's a streusel. Yeah. This is just like a typical lattice. Apple strudel is great, but streusel is different. A pie needs a top. A pie is covered. A pie is a fully encapsulated baked good. Unless it is the type of pie that has a baked filling like a pumpkin pie or something that like solidifies Yes, because pumpkin pie holds itself. Again, pecan pie holds itself. Yeah. A crumble top is not... That's not a pie. That's not a pie. That is a different thing. So... Yeah. It's not. It's not a pie. Chicago pizza does not hold itself. But yeah, it's a crumble. Being in a pie dish with pie dough does not make it a pie, though. You can make a quiche in the same way, and that's not a pie, it's a quiche. A cream pie would be a cold pie, which is an entirely different situation. But it's also a type of pudding pie, which is the same type that a pumpkin is a type of, like, custard pudding pie that's baked. But, yeah, the second you put, like, granola-y shit or crumbly shit on top of it, now it's a crumble. So different things, yeah. Cheesecake is not cake. No. I would argue cheesecake is a crustless form of custard pie, but it's kind of its own thing. Cheesecake is kind of its own thing, I would argue. But yeah. I don't know, why are there so many different types of words for rain where it rains a lot? It's because there's a lot of different variety. Therefore, you need a lot of different words to describe the different things. When there's a lot of options, you need to have names to differentiate them. That's... A custard is egg and sugar, more or less. Egg, cream, sugar. But yeah. Yeah, exactly, Pips. Like, when you're around things a lot. Yeah, eggnog is a drinkable custard. I would actually agree with that. Mm-hmm. I would also like to point out that, like, we only have 2 words for cake. There's cake, and there's cheesecake, which are different. What are these other words for cake you're thinking of that are English? The other thing we were talking about was pie. These are all just different types of desserts and baked goods. But I can't think of another word for cake. Unless you're talking about a specific type of cake. But then that would just be a descriptor word that you add on to cake. You know? Anyway, I'm gonna go. See you guys soon. I will be later now, okay? Okay, bye!